Hi, everybody. From Shotwell Stadium, David Bacon along with David Robinette. We're set to bring you tonight's second annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic. Good crowd on hand, warm temperatures. Thank heavens we've got an 8 o'clock kickoff here tonight, David Robinette, as the North All-Stars about ready to take on the South All-Stars, and we've got the coin flip going on in the middle of the field.
An outstanding crowd coming out for this game, and it has a good chance of being an outstanding football game. Last year, the team that was supposed to win the game was the North, and the South ended up winning. This year, the team that's supposed to win is the South. We'll see who's actually going to come out on top in this one.
The North All-Stars being coached by Denny Faith of Albany, the longtime head coach of the Lions. In the meantime, the South All-Stars being coached by Mike Copeland from Stephenville. And both these teams laced with some very good players from around the Big Country. And as we're about ready to have the introductions here, we've already had the introductions, the coin flip about ready to come our way as good crowd on hand here at Shotwell Stadium, and of course all the proceeds of this ball game going to help out the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
An outstanding charity for that most of these players are involved in, and a good number of the players in the Big Country in football and all other sports are involved in.
And the neat thing also, this is giving these youngsters, in the case of like Deacon Burns and Chris Copeland of Brownwood High School, getting to play with kids from Stephenville. Here they've gone opposite one another all these years. Now they get to be teammates for one last game as high school football players.
And they aren't just rivals, they're bitter rivals. now they have to put up with being teammates, but I bet you they make the transition pretty easy.
And the officials for tonight's ball game, all local officials here tonight at P.E. Shotwell Stadium. And one thing that they'd like to try to remind everybody is the 2001 football season right around the corner here in the Big Country. They'd like to remind everybody that they need officials. You see Randy Dale there. He'll be the referee here in the first half of the ball game as he's explaining the rules. And there are some unique rules to this ball game. There's no blitzing, and there'll also be no rushing on any kicks. So a couple of things as you're watching the ball game, just a couple of minor rule modifications here for the Big Country All-Star Football Classic. But getting back to the officials, they're in dire need of officials for the 2001 football season, and they'd love to try to have any of you who are interested in officiating, contact Don Moran at Rentec Boilers. He'd love to get you signed up. And the South has won the toss, but they have elected to defer, or check that, that's the North that's won, so they've deferred to the second half. And now you'll see that the first half of the ball game, it will be the South All-Stars who'll get the ball first. We'll be back with their opening kickoff in just a moment. This is the Big Country All-Star Football Classic on KTAB.
Here's how you get more for your summer at United Supermarkets. 1 gallon of United Premium Milk, only $1.99. USDA Boneless Select Round Steak, just $1.29 a pound. California Bing Cherries are only $1.79 a pound. Charmin Bath Tissue, regular or ultra, 9 roll, only $3.99. And register at special Coca-Cola displays for your chance to win a family vacation for 4 to Disneyland.
Get more without paying more at United.
Whether you're a .com, a non-com, a hot mom, whether you got a stockpile or a rock pile, your wild Texas soul is about to feel different. Every minute in your Dodge is a minute worth living.
1 million have switched to Dodge trucks. To switch you, we're offering big cash allowances on Ram, or 3.9% financing that can save you over $3,300 on Ram 1500s.
Different by a country mile.
Welcome back to Shotwell Stadium. The opening kickoff fielded by the South All-Stars. Deacon Burns brings it out to the 21-yard line. Jordan Neal will be the starting quarterback. Deacon Burns will be the starting running back. Slot back will be Kelly Foster. The flanker will be Chase Fishback. Tight end, Chris Burleson. The starting wide receiver, T.J. Douglas. We'll give you the rest of the starting lineup in just a moment. Pitch, this is going to be Deacon Burns, and he'll pick up yardage across the 25 to about the 27-yard line before he's brought down on the play. And making the stop just then for the North All-Stars is going to be inside linebacker Cody Kelly of Abilene High.
Deacon Burns playing a little bit of an unfamiliar position to him. The last 2 years, he's been the starting quarterback for Brownwood in that wishbone offense that they run so well. He is essentially a running back, playing quarterback in that offense anyway. Now he's actually getting to play running back.
Rushed for more than 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns on 198 carries last year at quarterback. And this time, the handoff goes to Cesar Martinez. Loose ball down at the 29-yard line. Martinez, the running back from Ballinger. And let's see who's got it down there at the 29-yard line. We might have an early turnover here. We're just underway with the second annual Big Country All-Star Classic. And the South All-Stars will retain possession at the 29-yard line and will bring up third down and short yardage. David, let's go ahead and give you the starting offensive line for the South All-Stars. Ryan Aitchison from Cooper High School. Brian Keegans from Stephenville. Sterling Doty from Stephenville at center. Blake Williams at the other guard position. He's from Brownwood. Charles Mock at right tackle, and he is from Abilene Cooper. We'll give you the starting defense in just a moment. It's going to be third down and short yardage now for the South All-Stars at their own 29-yard line. Jordan Neal, the quarterback, handoff. That's going to be Deacon Burns, and it's going to be close for first down yardage to the South 31-yard line.
It looked like Deacon Burns knew exactly what he wanted to do there. He wanted to make sure he got a first down, ran straight ahead, and dove over the 30-yard line to make sure he got it.
And let's give you now the starting defensive lineup for the North All-Stars. The defensive ends are Nick Anthony from Roscoe and John Gonzalez from Abilene High. Starting defensive tackles are Armando Lozano from Anson and Tommy DeLeon from Abilene High. The 4-4 defense, so you've got 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers. The outside linebackers, Dustin Threet from Haskell, Lance Moore, the other outside linebacker from Roby. Inside linebackers, Bo Butler from Big Spring, and of course we mentioned Cody Kelly from Abilene High, who's already made a tackle in this ball game. Free safety, Chase Holland from Roscoe, and the cornerbacks is the stretch of the chain, and it is a first down for the South All-Stars. The cornerbacks will be Alan Albus from Monday and Jason Choate from Big Spring. So the South All-Stars with a first down at their own 31-yard line.
One thing that you should be watching for, Coach Denny Faith is the coach for the North All-Stars. He always has a good defense at Albany. Expect some good defensive play today from the North. Jordan
Neal, who threw for more than 3,100 yards and 37 touchdowns on 1st and 10. Lots of time. That's going to be in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Trying to make the catch was T.J. Douglas, and what a lick he took down there just at the same time the ball arrived.
Cody Kelly did an outstanding job of mirroring, came in, made the big hit, knocked the ball loose. The pass was just a little bit behind him, but Cody Kelly made sure that he didn't catch that football.
Jordan Neal, who had such a great year at quarterback for the Cooper Cougars, leading them to the Class 5A Division II quarterfinals before they lost at Texas Stadium to Arlington Lamar. Now he faces a second down and 10 with 10:24 left to go, scoreless first quarter. Neal pitches to the left side. That's going to be Deacon Burns. He's brought down behind the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be the aforementioned Cody Kelly, who did a great job slicing in and bringing down the running back for a loss on the play.
And a play like that's nothing new for Cody. He did it for the last 2 years for Abilene High, and he's just continuing it here, and he's hoping to continue it on this same football field in college when he plays for the Abilene Christian Wildcats.
So now it's going to be third down and long. And remember, as we go under 10 minutes and counting left to go in the first quarter, the South All-Stars having to move into the teeth of a stiff southerly breeze here at Shotwell Stadium tonight. 3rd and 14 now for the South All-Stars from their own 27-yard line. Just underway, no score. Neal, lots of time, sprints out. Now he fires down the middle of the field. It will be caught, and that will be a first down at the play stands. And making the catch just then for the South All-Stars on the play is going to be enough for the first down, and making that reception just then is going to be Jacob Massey from Rising Star.
Massey just found an open spot in the defense. He looked like he was playing a tight end position, just kind of roamed around out there until Jordan finally found him. He was the second or third choice, and it gets him a first down.
And boy, did he have enough time to throw. That offensive line is doing a great job so far for the South All-Stars.
And they're huge on top of all that. I think it's helping.
Well, Ryan Atchison is 245. Keegan's is 305. Sterling Doty 250. The right guard Williams is 235, and Charles Mock is 300. Neal throws downfield, and it will be caught, and that's going to be a gain out to the 48-yard line. Making the catch just then for the South All-Stars, T.J. Douglas. In on the stop is going to be Alan Albus from Monday from his cornerback position.
One thing that Jordan Neal showed all season this year with Cooper is that he was patient. He was always willing to look and find the open wide receiver. That play right there is just another example of it. Rolled out a little bit and waited for T.J. to come open, and he did it.
Gain of 6 on that play. 2nd down and 4. South with the ball at its own 49-yard line. 8.5 minutes left to go, scoreless first quarter. Burns, the single set back behind Jordan Neal. And we've got a bobbled snap here. I thought I heard a whistle, but Jordan Neal trying to make something out of nothing right there. Tackled on the play by Butler, and it will be a small gain on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and short yardage.
Little confusion there, it looked like, on the snap, and that just made all the difference in the world, and Butler was able to take advantage of the fact that no one really knew what the snap count was, including the center.
Well, that's going to be one of these. They've only been working together since Tuesday, so you're going to see a lot of that sort of thing with not much practice time as these two teams try to mesh. Now it'll be 3rd down and 4 needed for the first down. South with the ball, still at his own 49-yard line. 7:40 left to go, scoreless first quarter. Neal's pass is going to be Douglas. He's to the 35. Douglas to the 30, inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. And on 3rd down, the South comes up with a big reception by T.J. Douglas, a 6'5", 200-pounder from Stephenville, and he's got a first down to the north 27-yard line.
Douglas is a huge target, and that helps the quarterback, but he's also a big kid that's hard to bring down. He made the first 2 guys miss him. He was able to pick up about 15 yards after the first contact was made.
So the South All-Stars with a threat on the opening possession of the ball game. Clock is rolling with 7:20 left to go here in the first quarter of the ball game at Shotwell Stadium. Glad you could join us live for tonight's broadcast here on KTAB TV. David Bacon along with David Robinette. Jordan Neal. Now we do have movement along the line, and now we do see flags. I thought I was going to see some flags earlier when they had that botch play down here at the 49-yard line. And it will be illegal procedure, the first penalty of the ball game. But like we were saying, since you've only had a limited amount of time to work with one another, I'm really surprised we haven't seen more of that sort of thing so far.
Exactly, already. It is really tough, and especially tough on an offensive line when, you know, any expert in the NFL will tell you, or any in football will tell you, offensive lines, they take a long time to get together, and when you try to throw them together in a week, it's nearly impossible.
You got Kelly Foster as the slot back to the near sideline. Now racing to get off the field in time for the South All-Stars is Garrett Brown. Neal's pass behind the intended receiver. He was trying to find Douglas on a slant pattern at the 25-yard line. Incomplete pass stops the clock with 6:40 left to go in a scoreless first quarter.
And, David, that's another thing that's hard to get down in a week is when you aren't used to working with a wide receiver. You don't know exactly how fast he's going to make that cut. He doesn't know how quick you're going to throw the football. Just makes it tough.
Brings up 2nd down and 15 now for the South All-Stars. They've got the ball at the 32-yard line of the North. It's been the opening possession of this ball game. Jordan Neal now goes to a shotgun formation on this 2nd down and 15 play. Has some time. Now he's in trouble, and he's going to be sacked back at the 42-yard line. And coming through to put the pressure on him is going to be outside linebacker Dustin Threet from Haskell, a 5'9", 175-pounder. And he tackles Jordan Neal for a loss all the way back to the north 40-yard line.
Threet did an excellent job of getting around his blocker, and Jordan had pressure up the middle as well. Threet was just able to take advantage of that and get the sack.
That's going to be a huge loss on the play of about 8 yards. So it now brings up a 3rd down and 23 situation The South with the ball at the 40-yard line to pick up the first down. They've got to get to the 17-yard line of the North All-Stars. We go under 6 minutes of counting, left to go, scoreless first quarter. Neal still has lots of time. Now he goes with a deep pass down the middle of the field, up in the air, incomplete inside the 5-yard line. The intended receiver downfield just then was going to be Cesar Martinez, and that will stop the clock with 5:50 left to go here in the first quarter.
And on that play, Martinez became the defensive back, more or less, because the man that was covering him had great position. Chase Holland had good position on that play. Was almost able to come down the interception, but Martinez is there and pulls the ball away.
So we got 5:50 left to go, scoreless first quarter, and now the North All-Stars about ready to get their hands on the ball for the first time. Chase Fishback in to punt the ball away. He's from Early, Texas, an early Longhorn. And remember now, on these punts or any kicking situation, there's no rushing the kicker. So this is going to look a little strange as you watch this play unfold here in a scoreless first quarter of play. Fishback with the punt, into the wind. Fair catch called for, and the ball will skip into the end zone for the touchback. When we come back, the North All-Stars will have the ball for the first time. You're watching the Big Country All-Star Football Classic on KTAB. We're 0-0 midway through the first quarter of play.
Bank customers in Abilene needed a bank that could make loan decisions right here, today. Plus a bank that is conveniently located for personal banking needs. From mortgage lending, new home construction or remodeling, to commercial business or personal loans. Haskell National Bank is about local bankers who can make local decisions effectively for you. Haskell National Bank, 3202 Buffalo Gap Road. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender since 1890.
Right now at your neighborhood Allsup, Snack Attack Milk is on sale at an incredible price of just 79 cents for 1 pint bottles of homogenized 2%, 1% chocolate, and 1% chocolate. And the weather's right for grilling out, so pick up some tasty Bar S Franks in the 12-ounce package and an 8-pack of Tender Crust hot dog buns for just 69 cents each. And pick up a 6-pack or 3-liter of Coke or Diet Coke for just $1.69. Allsups, there's always one near you, and we're always open.
Hey, it's summer, and you're in luck. That means savings on a new Ford truck. Summer savings days are here.
It's summer in the Lone Star State, and that means big savings on the best-selling trucks in Texas, including Ford F-150. Now with payments starting from just $179 a month. That's $179 a month. For a big selection and even bigger savings, get into your Texas Ford dealer today while summer savings days are here.
Welcome back to Shoutwell Stadium. We pick up the action here with third down and long for the North All-Stars. They've had an incomplete pass and then one pass behind the line of scrimmage as we've got 4:57 left to go here in the first quarter of play. It's a 0-0 ball game. And the North All-Stars, well, when we come back to action, will be facing a third down. And while we were away, unfortunately, we missed a tremendous defensive play by Jared DeBusk, a senior from Comanche High School.
Nice job on that play. The play went off to the right side, and he was there to make the stop and throw the running back for a loss.
So 4:57 left to go here in the first quarter of the ball game. Still no score. The South All-Stars versus the North All-Stars. South had a pretty good drive going until it stalled out midway into the red zone of the North team, forcing a punt. And now the North All-Stars with their first offensive series in the ball game.
And really important for them, they've got the win, and they've already lost 6 minutes of having the win because the South All-Stars were able to move the ball so well. So now it's time for the North really needs to get a first down here and kind of take advantage of taking the win.
The starting quarterback for the North All-Stars, Chase Ferris from Colorado City. The fullback, Joe Tidwell from Albany. The running back, Jason Woodruff from Big Spring. Wide receivers, Matthew Grimmett from Snyder, Jason Choate from Big Spring. The tight end, Matthew Fleetwood from Hawley. We'll give you the rest of the offensive lineup in just a moment. Ferris, with the wind to his back, goes with a deep pass down the far side of the field. Incomplete. The intended receiver downfield was Jason Choke for the North All-Stars, and now it brings up a punting situation, but the North will have the wind to its back as they boot the ball away here with 4:50 left to go in the first quarter, still no score.
Looked like Choke got turned around as he was out there running his route. Maybe the wind was playing games with the football, kind of making it bounce back and forth, and he never could quite get a handle on where it was going to end up landing.
Deacon Burns and Cesar Martinez back deep for the South All-Stars, awaiting the punt now from Mason Grimes. Of course, Burns is from Brownwood, Martinez from Ballinger. Mason Grimes, who will be handling all the kicking chores for the North All-Stars, is a 5'11", 180-pounder from Breckenridge, and he'll have the wind to his back. And remember, no rushing on these kicks. And he nails this one. Deacon Burns, watch its hop inside the 40-yard line, and it will go inside the 35 to the 32-yard line, and it will be a first down and 10 for the South All-Stars as the 4:38 left to go here in the first quarter of the ball game, and still no score as both teams have had an offensive possession apiece.
A 47-yard punt there, and it got the North out of their hole. Sets the South back a little bit back into their own territory. They'll have a little bit farther to go than maybe they thought they might.
So the South All-Stars with their second possession of the ball game. Mike Copeland from Stephenville, the head coach for the South All-Stars. His assistants, Brad McCoy from Jim Ned, Ronnie Hughes, the new head coach of Clyde, Robin Bird, the former head coach at Winters, who's now down at Menard, and Philip Ritchie, who's from Coleman. Pitch. This is going to be Deacon Burns. Tries to turn the corner, does so. The 35 to the 40. He's going to be close for first down yardage before he's pushed out of bounds at the 46-yard line over on the far side of the field.
Deacon Burns doing an outstanding job of running the football. He did that at Brownwood all the time. He'd come up to a couple of guys. He'd put a move on, make the first two guys miss him almost any time you tried to tackle him, and he'd pick up 10 yards afterward.
And meanwhile, for the North All-Stars, their head coach, Denny Faith from Albany. He's being assisted by Bob Shipley, the former Rotan coach, who's now at Burnett in Central Texas. Blake Felt, who's from Breckenridge, Don Flippen of Haskell, and Matt Denman of Monday. First down and 10 for the South All-Stars at their own 46-yard line. They fake the handoff. Neal throws near sideline, caught by Douglas into the North territory. They'll spot him down at the 49-yard line. Tackled immediately on the play by Alan Albus from Monday.
Neal does a good job on that play. He's standing in there in the pocket just as Dustin Threed is getting ready to hit him. But Neal throws the ball on that out, delivers a strike, and Douglas is able to pull it in.
You see the KTAB Chase Lab, 94 degrees here as we're playing with 4 minutes left to go, scoreless first quarter. Gain of about 4.5 yards on that pass play, and the South with the ball is just inside the north half of the 50-yard line here at Shotwell Stadium.
Something you don't appreciate about the pass that Neal just threw was it was about a 35-yard pass that gained only about 5 yards.
Neal barking out the signals. The former Cooper Cougar in the ball game, hands off to Deacon Burns. And not much running room there at all. And that's going to be Cody Kelly from his inside linebacker position making the tackle just then for the North All-Stars. The former Abilene High Eagle making the tackle. No gain on the play for Deacon Burns.
And Butler and Threet were also there in the vicinity. It looked like on that play they were just waiting to see if they were going to be handing the ball off to Burns. And as it turns out, they did, and they were able to stop him.
The North All-Stars versus the South All-Stars here this evening in the second annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic at Shotwell Stadium. All the proceeds going to help out the local chapter, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Neal with lots of time, fires downfield, wide open receiver, first down yardage inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. That will be a first down, and making the catch just then for the for the South All-Stars is Chase Fishback, the flanker from Early.
Another strike, but Fishback does a good job of getting open. Gets his big body, 6'4", 190 pounds, in front of the defender, and the ball is delivered right where it needs to be, and they pick up a first down.
That's the fun thing of this All-Star game. Not only have you got kids from like Brownwood and Stephenville playing together, you're also mixing in kids who played all the way from six-man football all the way up to Class 5A football, and they're all together on the team on the field as teammates. Neal's pass intercepted by the North. This is going to be Grimmett, and he'll be tackled at the 32-yard line. That's going to be Matthew Grimmett, and making the tackle is going to be Jordan Neal. Matthew Grimmett just then with the interception. He's the free safety from Snyder, and we've got our first turnover in the ball game.
Grimmett did a nice job of reading where he felt like Neal was going to be throwing the football. He had an idea that was going to be an in by Douglas, and he was able to jump the route and pick the pass off.
So the North All-Stars with the first turnover in the ball game. They've got the ball at their own 33-yard line. Quarterback is going to be Chase Ferris, who led Colorado City into the playoffs this year. Give up the middle, and the ball carrier Jason Woodruff, who slips down to the 34-yard line after a gain of a yard.
It looked like he might have had a little bit more running room than he had, but his feet were just tripped up by himself. He got it caught in a clump of grass, and he was brought down.
Well, I must say, though, the recent rains here, Shotwell Stadium looks great out here tonight as we played this second annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic. A look at the south bench here at Shotwell Stadium as we go under 2 minutes and counting left to go in a scoreless first quarter. Gain of 2 on that last carry for Jason Woodruff for the North All-Stars. Ferris in the ball game of quarterback. Play action, still has the ball, fires downfield, caught. And now they're going to say he juggled the ball, and it will be an incomplete pass. That was Albus, the intended receiver, at the 45-yard line, but he couldn't hang on to it, and that will stop the clock with 1:40 left to go in a scoreless first quarter.
Nice hit by Deacon Burns out there on the coverage. He was able to prevent the pass from being completed. Chase Ferris, though, threw a very nice pass on that play. It's something he's used to doing when he was at Colorado City. They threw the ball an awful lot, got into the playoffs this past year, so don't think throwing the football is new to him.
Well, Colorado City, along with Comanche, were both teams that really turned it around in 2000. They went from 1 and 9 seasons apiece to reaching the state playoffs in the year 2000. Shotgun formation now. Ferris fires downfield, caught, first down yardage, and he falls forward to the 49-yard line, and it will be a first down for the North All-Stars. And making the catch, Matthew Grimmett, the young man who got this whole series started for the North All-Stars with that interception of the Jordan Neal pass just a few moments ago.
Grimmett did a nice job on that. Also Ferris delivered the ball right into the numbers, made it really easy for Grimmett to catch that football, and then Grimmett was able to pick up 3 or 4 more yards after the catch.
Less than a minute and a half left to go. Scoreless first quarter. The North All-Stars trying to get out of their own end of the field for the first time in this ball game. Still no score, even though the South has had a couple of opportunities into North territory on their first 2 possessions of the ball game. Give up the middle. This is going to be the fullback. Hammers his way into South territory to the 47-yard line. Joe Tidwell from Albany. Albany getting all the way to the Class 2A quarterfinals last year. And Tidwell, one of the reasons why, and we just saw why he was such a good ball player. Gain of 6 on that carry right up the gut.
That's his first carry of the game, and you can kind of see why Albany gave him the ball a lot last year. Tough runner up the middle, hard to bring down with the first hit. He usually is able to make 3 or 4 guys to tackle him.
It will now be 2nd down and 4 for the North All-Stars at the 47-yard line of the South. I formation, option play, pitch. This is going to be the ball carrier, and he'll be out of bounds inside the 35 to the 31-yard line. Ball carrier just in is going to be Nick Anthony, and he's got first down yardage for the North All-Stars.
Those option plays for Nick Anthony aren't anything new either. He comes from Roscoe, where they run the wishbone, did an outstanding job of taking that pitch. Ferris did a good job of delivering the pitch, and he was able to get outside and pick up a first down.
Clock is stopped, 25 seconds left to go here in the first quarter of the ball game. Nick Anthony carrying the ball for the first down. 6'3", 197-pounder, the former Roscoe Plowboy shining here at Shotwell Stadium. First down and 10 for the North. This is their first serious threat in the ball game, set up by an interception. Pitch to Woodruff, turns the corner, good block by Tidwell, and Woodruff will get to the 30-yard line before he's swarmed under by the South defense.
The South defense do an outstanding job. 3 or 4 of the South defensive players were there to make the stop, and there just really wasn't any room for Woodruff to go.
Jarrett DeBusk, one of the many tacklers for the South All-Stars, the 5'9", 170-pounder from Comanche, as the clock winds down. That's the end of the first quarter here at P.E. Shotwell Stadium. Our score, still 0-0 between the North All-Stars and the South All-Stars. This is the Big Country All-Star Football Classic on KTAB.
When I left the huddle, having a positive attitude made all the difference. I can! I can! And just like these athletes, you can have an I can attitude, whether it's at work or at play. Being positive motivates and encourages those around you. I can! I can! The FCA has an I-can attitude when it comes to students. Arrow dealerships invite you to find out more about the FCA in your area. The I-can attitude, it's catching on.
Right now at your neighborhood Allsup, Snack Attack milk is on sale at an incredible price of just 79 cents for 1 pint bottles of homogenized 2%, 1% chocolate, and 1% chocolate. And the weather's right for grilling out, so pick up some tasty Bar S Franks in the 12-ounce package and an 8-pack of Tender Crust hot dog buns for just 69 cents each. And pick up a 6-pack or 3-liter of Coke or Diet Coke for just $1.69. Also, there's always one near you, and we're always open.
Jeff Burrow Foundation Repair has been serving the Big Country since 1962. Jeff is now the authorized dealer for American Steel Piers, a patented system that offers a lifetime limited warranty. The procedure for American Steel Piers is quick and clean, with minimal damage to your lawn and landscape. If your home is showing signs of foundation stress, Jeff Burrow Foundation Repair will give you a free estimate and go the extra distance to keep you on a firm foundation.
If you think your house needs rustling, just call my dad, Jeff Burrow.
David Bacon along with David Robinette at Shotwell Stadium. We start the second quarter of the Big Country All-Star Football Classic. Still no score between the North All-Stars and the South All-Stars, but it's the North that's got the threat going right now with a 2nd down and 8 at the 30-yard line of the South. And remember, here in the second quarter, as this is going to be a new quarterback in the ball game, that's Chase Holland, who slip-slides his way down to the 25-yard line. Chase, the 6'2", 175-pounder from Roscoe. And his first experience in this All-Star game is going to be a 5-yard pickup.
Holland helped lead the Roscoe Plowboys to the Class A quarterfinals this past year. They lost in overtime, or else they were that close to making it to the semifinals. So he's got some good experience, and running the football is nothing new to him.
He'll be joined in the backfield by Joe Tidwell and Jason Woodruff. Tidwell from Albany, Woodruff from Big Spring on this 3rd down play for the North All-Stars. Holland with a pitch to Woodruff, and he's got the first down yardage inside the 15 down to the 11-yard line before he's tackled on the play by Cesar Martinez. It will be a first down for the North All-Stars. Martinez from Ballinger in on the stop.
Woodruff did an outstanding job of running the football, and you also saw Holland running the option. He really forced his man to come up and tackle him, made him commit before he pitched the ball out to the outside. Also, Woodruff made Aaron Bird from Cooper miss him, and he was able to pick up some yards after that.
Well, Aaron Bird, who at the free safety position from Cooper, who is signed with Princeton University to play football for them. So it's going to be first down and 10 at the 11-yard line. This is going to be a new ball carrier in the ball game. This is going to be Lance Moore from Roby, and he finds a solid wall of red shirts right there for not much gain, if any, on the play. And you've got some first quarter stats, David.
Yes, I do. In the first quarter, the North ran 4 times for 23 yards. The South ran for 8 times for 13 yards. Passing yards, 11 for the North and 64 for the South. Jordan Neal was 5 of 9, although he did have that 1 interception. No scores in the first quarter, and the time of possession really telling in this one. The South had it for over 8 minutes. The North just over 3.
And the ball game at quarterback is going to be Chase Holland from Roscoe on 2nd down and 10 from the 11-yard line of the South All-Stars. Deepest penetration for the North. Holland with a pass, touchdown with the catch. That's going to be Matthew Grimmett. And how apropos is that? It was his interception that set up this whole series that results in a touchdown for the North All-Stars.
And what a perfect pass that was on that slant pattern. Holland knew exactly where he needed to put the ball. He did it, and Grimmett made the catch. Had a couple of steps on his defender. And here we go again, the second year in a row that the team that's not supposed to win this game based on personnel alone is out in front.
And to attempt the extra point now for the North All-Stars, this is going to be Mason Grimes, and Chase Holland, who just threw that touchdown strike, is holding. And remember, no rushing on the kick attempts, and this one is good. With 10:02 left to go in the first half, our new score in the ball game, it's the North All-Stars leading the South 7-0 in the second annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic in K-Tab. We'll be back in just a moment.
This portion of the FCA football game is brought to you by Edward Jones.
It's not just about saving money. It's about spending time, just dropping by and creating bonds rather than simply buying them. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
Oak Express's Memorial Day sale has been held over, which means you can still get incredible bargains offered during our Memorial Day sale. Plus, we're also offering no payments and no interest for 1 full year. That's no payments and interest until June 2002 on our entire stock of dining, home office, home entertainment, and bedroom furnishings. Now that you've had a couple of days to rest, get out and save during our Memorial Day sale, continuing this week.
South 7th and the Winters Freeway in Abilene.
Hey, it's summer, and you're in luck. That means savings on a new Ford truck. Summer savings days are here.
Summers are action-packed, especially at your Texas Ford dealer. Now get huge savings on the coolest trucks, like the Sporty Ranger Edge and Texas bestseller Ford Ranger with 0-9 financing or $2,000 cash back. Get in on the action today because
Summer savings days are here.
David Bacon along with David Robinette here tonight at Shotwell Stadium. The North having just taken the lead in the ball game as we've got 10:02 left to go in the second quarter of play. An 11-yard touchdown pass from Holland to Grimmett, and the North All-Stars take the lead over the South. Here's the kickoff by Grimes. Back deep to receive Dials, Burns, along with Cesar Martinez. And this is going to be Burns with the return. 15, 20, up the middle of the field. He's across the 25 to the 27-yard line. And tripping him up on the play just then for the North All-Stars is going to be Joe Tidwell from Albany. It'll be first down and 10 now for the South. And let's see who goes in the ball game at quarterback. Jordan Neal with good stats in that first quarter, David, but did throw that costly interception, which resulted in that North touchdown.
Exactly. It looks like Jared DeBusk has gone into the game from Comanche. Heard good things about him this week. They were saying that that DeBusk was every bit as good as Jordan Neal, and you know his numbers would say that, being able to get Comanche to the playoffs this past season.
Jarrett had an outstanding season, not only just in football down for Comanche High School, but also helped lead the Indians not only into the football playoffs, but also the basketball and baseball playoffs as well. So it'll be first down and 10 now for the South All-Stars, and Jarrett DeBusk in the ball game at quarterback. Pitches, ball carrier. Initial contact made by Cody Kelly and then swarmed under by 2 or 3 others of those white-shirted defenders for the North All-Stars. The ball carrier was Sonny Ainsworth from Ranger, who's now in the ball game. Sonny, who in 1999 was the Class 1A Offensive Player of the Year.
Exactly. He's a kid that has great talent and did a good job while he was at Ranger. Del Zetzman was also a player that came out of the bottom of that pile and was able to put the stop on Ainsworth.
Clock rolling, 9:20 left to go here in the second quarter of play. It's a 7-0 lead for the North over the South All-Stars. The South wearing the red jerseys, the white jerseys being worn by the North All-Stars here tonight at Shotwell Stadium. Second down and 11 play. DeBusk being chased out of the pocket. He's going to run. He's got an alley. He's to the 35, to the 40. DeBusk knocked out of bounds over on the far side of the field, but he's got a first down to the 47-yard line, and that's going to be a quarterback scramble of more than 20 yards and a first down for the South.
DeBusk did a great job when he was rolling out. He was able to find a lot of room. Nobody was really open, but there was plenty of room for him to run, and there to make the stop was Genesis Reddick. He was from Sweetwater. He was able to chase him down, but a 20-yard gain later is when he was able to catch him.
And you saw the DeBusk family cheering on Jarrett. His dad runs Jeff DeBusk Auto Store down in Comanche. First down and 10 now for the South All-Stars from their own 48-yard line, and the snap goes over DeBusk head. Ball's on the ground, and let's see, it could be a turnover, and it looks like the North might have it. Let's see who's got it, Dak, at the 33-yard line. You saw Denny Faith hopping up and down, he was hoping that his North All-Stars would get, but instead I guess the South was able to get back downfield and cover that one on a bad snap that went over the quarterback's head.
And DeBusk really was punished for that bad snap. He had to get into that mix with about 3 defensive linemen. They were all jumping on top of him trying to get the football. Looks like he's the one that finally ended up coming up with it, and he's having to come out of the game now.
And that's going to be a big loss of 15 yards on that bad snap from center. And DeBusk comes out of the ball game. Jordan Neal comes back in with 8:12 left to go here in the second quarter. North leading the South, and it's another bad snap. Neal picks it up, fires to the left side, and they're actually going to come back and make the catch down here at the 44-yard line with reception for the South All-Stars. That's going to be Josh Curtis, the Baird Bear, and that's going to be a big gain. You talk about making chicken salad out of chicken feathers just then.
Nice job by Jordan Neal to find him, and then Josh was also able to make the catch. That still brings up a 3rd down and long, but it's not nearly as long as it would have been if they hadn't been able to complete that.
That was about, they're going to say 3rd down and 13. That was a gain of 12 yards on that pass play for Jordan Neal as he found the Baird Bear along the near sideline. Josh Curtis makes it 3rd and 13 on what was 2nd down and 25. Line of scrimmage, the 44-yard line. Neal underneath center instead of the shotgun. Back to pass, has some time, good protection. Down that far sideline, another interception. And this is going to be on the return to the 29-yard line, and with the pick just in for the North All-Stars, that's going to be Dustin Threet, the linebacker from Haskell, who stepped in front of the intended receiver, and Jordan Neal has thrown his 2nd interception of the evening for the South All-Stars.
The ball was underthrown just a tad, but Threet continues his outstanding first half. He was able to come up with a couple of big pressures and a couple of big tackles in the first quarter, and here in the second quarter, he picks the pass off and sets the North up.
7:06 left to go here in the second quarter of play. North leading by a score of 7-0 as they get the ball back with the second pick that they've had of a Jordan Neal pass. Jordan maybe didn't throw that many all through the playoffs. He's had 2 here in the first half alone. Back in the ball game, a quarterback, Chase Ferris from Colorado City, fakes the handoff, looking to throw into the wind, downfield, and this one is going to be almost intercepted down at the 42-yard line. The intended receiver downfield for the North All-Stars on the play was Jason Choate from Big Spring, but that pass held up in the wind, and that allowed the defense to collapse on it.
And Jason Choate and Aaron Bird were hand fighting down at the down where the pass was going to be coming down for the completion or the interception. They were hand fighting with each other, trying to keep each other from catching the pass, and neither one of them were able to get the ball.
Incomplete pass stops the clock with 6:58 left to go here in the second quarter. North with the ball and the lead, 7-0 over the South. Ferris in the ball game at quarterback. I formation behind him on 2nd down and 10. Option play, pitch to the near side. Ball carrier across the 35 to about the 39-yard line. Taking the pitch was Nick Anthony, his 2nd impressive run of the night on an option play for the North All-Stars.
Nick did a good job again. He was able to get around the contain on the option play and was able to pick up about, it's almost 10 yards if it's not 10 yards because they're going to be bringing out the chains to measure for this, but he did a good job on that play.
Clock is stopped with 6:38 left to go here in the first half of play. 7-0 lead for the North All-Stars. And the chain gang having to make the journey from the far side of the field to see if the run by Anthony might be enough for the first down. Last year, the South All-Stars, coached by Hugh Sandifer, won this ball game 21-6 over the North All-Stars. Stretch of the chain, first down for the North. So they get 4 more downs with the ball here in the second quarter of play.
And the South team really wasn't, like we said, expected to win that game. The North All-Stars had Sneezy Beltran and Willie Amos, both Division I signees, in the backfield in that game, except the South was able to come out and win that one.
So the North with a new lease on life. Line of scrimmage just inside their own 40-yard line. Ferris in the ball game at quarterback. Give to Tidwell, the fullback up the middle, hammers his way across the 40 to about the 43-yard line before he's ridden down on the play. And getting up from the bottom of the stack for the South All-Stars is going to be strong side linebacker Wes Jones, the old Coleman Blue Cat, in on that stop.
The offensive line did a good job on that play of pushing the defensive line backwards. All Tidwell had to do was run 40, and he had some space. He didn't have to pick a hole or anything like that. Just every offensive lineman moving forward and he just followed him for 5 yards.
Gain of 5 for Tidwell. 2nd down and 5 for the North All-Stars. The ball just shy of their own 45-yard line. They've got the ball and the lead, 7-0. Hand off to Woodruff, and he keeps the legs turning, and he'll make a little extra there before he's finally tackled on the play. Making the stop is going to be Aaron Bird, the free safety, the former Cooper Cougar. I think I said a few minutes ago he's going to Princeton. Actually, he's going to Harvard. Excuse me.
Yeah, and that'll get the ire up of some Harvard graduates if you say he's going to Princeton. That might cause a problem.
So now we've got a timeout called. We've got 5:27 left to go in the second quarter. We'll take the timeout with them. The North leading the ball game 7-0 over the South. We'll be back with more from Shotwell in just a moment.
The rumor is we're in an economic slowdown.
I don't think so.
At Era Ford, we've chosen not to.
Nada.
9.
What?
Next year, no way we're going to participate in this, quote, unquote, slowdown.
We know that what we give out, we get back.
So we're going positive, enthusiastic excitement.
It's an I. I.
Ken, attitude. Come see for yourself.
Right now at your neighborhood Allsup, Snack Attack milk is on sale at an incredible price of just 79 cents for 1 pint bottles of homogenized 2%, 1% chocolate, and 1% chocolate. And the weather's right for grilling out, so pick up some tasty Bar S Franks in the 12-ounce package and an 8-pack of Tender Crust hot dog buns for just 69 cents each. And pick up a 6-pack or 3-liter of Coke or Diet Coke for just $1.69. Allsups, there's always one near you, and we're always open.
Whether you're a .com, a non-com, a hot mom, whether you got a stockpile or a rock pile, your wild Texas soul is about to feel different. Every minute in your Dodge is a minute worth living.
Dakota has been ranked most appealing compact pickup by J.D. Power & Associates. And now either Club or Quad Cab gets you a $2,000 cash allowance or 0-9 financing. We call it the Texas Twosome.
Different by a country mile.
Welcome back to Shotwell Stadium. You see the K-Tab Chase Lab, which is here tonight, 89 degrees. We've got 5:27 left to go, second quarter. North leading the ball game 7-0 over the South All-Stars. Also, of course, all the proceeds of this ball game to benefit the local chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Chase Holland in the ball game at quarterback. He keeps right side. He'll be close to the 50-yard line before he stopped on the play. Making the tackle just then for the South All-Stars, Lee Swanson, the Wiley Bulldog, who was such a key player in the Bulldogs drive, the Class 3A Division I state finals this year.
Exactly. On that play there, Holland acted like he's run the option a couple of times in his life. He did a good fake, put up a good fake right in the middle of the line, sucked all the linemen in, and he just kind of went right around the side and snuck around for a yard gain to pick up that first down.
First down now for the North All-Stars as we go under 5 minutes and counting left to go here in the first half of the ball game. And now Chase Ferris from Colorado City back in the ball game at quarterback. And Lance Moore and Tidwell are behind him in the I formation on this first down and 10 play. Quick pass, and that's going to be through the hands of Grimmett. Of course, the last time that Holland and Grimmett got together, it was a touchdown for the North All-Stars, and that's the difference in the ball game right now.
That's right. Nice job by the defensive player, Cesar Martinez. The pass was a little overthrown. It looked like Grimmett stopped a little bit too long when he was trying to sell the fake, but a nice job by Cesar Martinez to be there, and he was going to make the stop, but the ball had been caught.
Brings up second down and 10 now for the North All-Stars. Clock stop, 4:43 left to go here in the first half. North leading 7-0. Ferris in the ball game at quarterback on this second down and 10 play, and now a timeout has been called by the North All-Stars. We'll take the timeout with them. 4:43 left to go here in the first half of the ball game. The score remains the North 7, the South nothing. We'll be back with more from Shotwell Stadium in a moment.
Guys, this is Michael. It's his first day.
What are y'all doing? We're making eye-cans. Eye-can? What's an eye-can?
It's a symbol.
A symbol of what? A symbol of our commitment.
Our beliefs.
Our attitude.
It's our way of saying that I will do everything I can.
I can.
I can.
Because at Arrow Ford, having a positive attitude
It's something I can do every day.
This I can attitude is contagious.
Come see for yourself.
It's not just about making plans. It's about making a difference. It's about neighbors and taking an interest rather than merely earning it. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
There's a look at downtown Abilene from Shotwell Stadium. Our score, we've got 4:43 left to go in the first half, and the North All-Stars leading 7-0 over the South. And tonight's second ever edition of the Big Country All-Star Football Classic to benefit the local chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And there you get to hear some of the Stephenville fans here as they brought those noisy cans with them from up in the Cross Timbers region. Second down and 10. Chase Ferris from Colorado City in the ballgame at quarterback, and his pass deflected at the line of scrimmage, and diving to try to make the interception just then was Chris Copeland, the middle linebacker from Brownwood, brings up third and long for the North All-Stars.
Copeland, another one of those players who's hoping to continue his good play from high school on here at Shotwell Stadium when he comes to Abilene Christian next year, joining what he hopes is going to be an outstanding football team over on the Hill. But Copeland had a great career at Brownwood, outstanding all-state football player right there, almost coming up with the interception.
Of course, his dad was a football player at ACU back, well, at that time it was still called ACC. So it will now be third down and long for the North All-Stars. Ferris looking to throw the ball in trouble. He's going to be sacked back at the 47-yard line, and the South defense comes to the occasion and helping to make the play just then for the South All-Stars is big Clayton Harmon, 6'6", 290-pound defensive tackle from Stephenville, and brings up a punting situation now for the North All-Stars.
Harmon is a load. If he were just tall, that'd be one thing, but he also weighs 290 pounds. He's tough to block, tough to get your hands around and keep him out of the way.
4:09 left to go here in the first half of the ball game, and once again we remind you that because of the special rules for this ball game, no rushing the kicker here. So Mason Grimes booting the ball into the wind, and it's sort of a knuckleball. Cesar Martinez will watch it hop at the 20-yard line, and coming down to kill the ball for the North team is going to be Ricky Wilson from Sweetwater. So the South All-Stars trailing 7-0 get the ball back with 3:50 left to go here in the second quarter. And let's see, they've got the wind to their back here in the second quarter of play, so if they're going to try to get something on the scoreboard, at least they've got the wind advantage.
And it looks like Jordan Neal is going to be back in at quarterback. DeBusk had come in briefly to play quarterback for the South, but then looked like he got injured early on. Now now Jordan Neal's in.
Neal, unfortunately for the South All-Stars, has thrown 2 interceptions so far in this ball game, very unlike him. And this is going to be a trick play, and Cesar Martinez is the one who winds up with it across the 25 to about the 27-yard line before he's tackled over on the far side of the field. And making the stop just then for the North All-Stars is going to be John Niffen, the 5'8", 155-pounder from Clyde High School.
Niffen did a good job of staying put on that play. He could have been suckered in, coming in to make the tackle, but he stayed put and played his area and was able to make the stop.
Clock rolling, 3:22 left to go here in the first half of play. Jordan Neal getting the play, which is brought in from the near side of the field by Kelly Foster, the slot back from Cisco. Neal out of the shotgun formation, throws down the middle of the field, wide open. Big catch and a big run. He's to the 40, to the 35-yard line, and that's where he's finally tackled on the play. Aaron Bird, the former Cooper Cougar, and now the Harvard football player with a big first down, biggest play of the night for the South All-Stars as the two former Cooper Cougars team up there.
And I think that was a big key on that play. They've worked together. They worked together all last season. And Neal also seems to do really well when he's got pressure coming in on him. He seems to be able to come up with the big play and the big pass completion.
Well, Jordan Neal is only 5'10", 175 pounds. If he were just 2 inches taller, he'd have D1 prospects all over him. But because he's only 5'10", he's still looking for a place to play college football. Bad snap. Neal still has it, and he's going to be swarmed under back at about the 37-yard line. And for the third time in this ball game, a bad snap. It comes back to haunt the South All-Stars.
It looked like that play was going to have a hard time getting going anyway, simply because the North was able to put so much pressure on them right off the bat. The play wasn't going to go anywhere.
The South All-Stars have called a timeout. We'll just keep it right here at Shotwell Stadium. 2:37 left to go, first half. North leading the South by a score of 7-0. The difference in this ball game all set up by an early Jordan Neal interception, the first of 2 interceptions that he has thrown in this ball game, and the North able to cash it in and score on a touchdown pass from Chase Holland to Matthew Grimmett, an 11-yard touchdown strike earlier in the second quarter, and ironically it was Grimmett who made the interception, and then later he came back to make the touchdown catch that gives the North its current 7-0 lead.
And also an interesting thing about that particular play is that since then, Holland's only come into on obvious running plays, and he's run the option. On that play, he threw the ball. And so our passing quarterback doesn't have a passing touchdown. The running quarterback does.
So when we return to action here, it's going to be 2nd down and 13 for the South All-Stars. If you're just tuning in, live action tonight at Shotwell Stadium. This game to benefit the local chapter, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. The South All-Stars wearing the red uniforms, or if you're in black and white, the dark uniforms. The North All-Stars wearing the white jerseys. Back to pass, Neal across the middle. Bird, off his fingertips at the 17-yard line. Just a little bit behind him. Otherwise, that would have been another big connection between the two former Cooper Cougars.
It's hard to tell on that play, but it looked like that Neal was expecting Aaron Bird to kind of cut out instead of bringing it back into the middle, because the pass was over his head just a little bit over the wrong shoulder. If it hadn't been for that, that's a big connection.
So that stops the clock with 2:31 left to go here in the first half. 3rd down and 13 now for the South All-Stars. Jordan Neal has played most of the first half at quarterback. Jarrett DeBusk from Comanche in for a couple of plays in the second quarter. Another deep pass near sideline, up in the air, incomplete inside the 10-yard line. The intended receiver was T.J. Douglas, but good coverage downfield for the North All-Stars by Jason Choate from Big Spring, Texas.
Choate did a great job on that play, because one of the things you want when you've got a guy the size of T.J. Douglas, 6'5", you want to get as many jump balls as you can. That was a jump ball, but Douglas just wasn't able to come down with it.
So that stops the clock. 2:24 left to go here in the first half. 4th down and 13. Jordan Neal stays in the ball game, so the South All-Stars with the wind to their back. Late here in the first half, they're going to gamble and roll the dice and see if they can't convert on 4th down and long. Shotgun formation for Jordan Neal. Some good protection. Now he fires. This is going to be caught by Douglas at the 26-yard line. Making the tackle is going to be Threet, the linebacker from Haskell, but it's going to be short of what they needed for the first down, and the ball will go over on downs now to the North All-Stars as they're able to make another good defensive play against the South All-Stars.
Threet continues his outstanding play here in the first half. He has the interception, several big tackles. He also was able to come up with that play to prevent the first down.
2:15 left to go here in the first half of play, 7-0. The North leading, and a special guest is joining us up here in the press box. Troy Walters of the Minnesota Vikings. Troy, thanks for coming up with us and your impressions of the first half of this ball game so far.
It's been a great game. It's good to be back here in Texas to watch some Texas high school football. It's been a while.
First down and 10. Troy, stay with us here for a moment or two. And the quarterback keeping the ball. This is going to be Chase Parrish, and he's swarmed under. Making the tackle just then for the South All-Stars on defense is going to be Samson Jackson from Winters, Texas. Troy, talk about the Minnesota Vikings and what you've got going on here for the 2001 season.
We're looking forward to the 2001 season. You know, the 2000 season ended on a bad note, losing to the Giants, but I think it motivated a lot of the guys, and we're working hard and getting ready for hopefully a successful 2001 season.
Robert Smith, you're a very good running back. At least I was surprised by his decision to retire. What were your thoughts when you heard about Smith deciding to hang him up?
I think everybody was surprised. There was no indications during the season that he was going to retire, but I think he had another knee injury, and he, didn't want to go through another rehab and all that. So, he had a successful NFL career. He's a very intelligent person, and he has a bright future ahead of him.
Troy, now you played for A&M Consolidated, then played your college football at Texas A&M. Minnesota Vikings, you were the leading punt returner and kick returner this past season for the Vikings. What's it like on those suicide squads?
Well, it's an opportunity to get out there and play football. It's an opportunity to get the ball and make something happen with the ball. And so, in college, I did it successfully, and even last year with the Vikings, it was a successful stint. So anytime I can have a chance to get the ball, it's exciting.
Second down and long now for the North All-Stars. They're going to try a little shovel pass, and that's going to be ruled incomplete, and I owe you an apology. I said you went to Texas A&M. I know your dad coached there for a while. Actually, you went to Stanford University, so don't kick me. I apologize for the mistake.
Yeah, I went to Stanford. It was a great time. I had a great time in College Station during high school, and went out to California and had a equally great time out there.
What's it like playing on the same team with your dad as an assistant coach?
It's great. It's a tremendous blessing to have him there, to have support there. He coaches on the other side of the ball, so it's not as difficult or as challenging as one might think. But it's always good to have him there, support, encouragement, and to have family close by.
Now, one of the things that the Vikings have been known for is able to overcome things. I mean, had 4 different quarterbacks in the last 4 or 5 years, able to get them into the playoffs. Tell us about Dennis Green. Pretty remarkable. People keep calling for his head, but he keeps winning.
Yeah, people are always questioning his moves, him as a coach, but he knows the right buttons to push. He's really a player's coach. He gets everybody on the same page. He knows how to blend talent. And like you said, he knows how to pick his quarterbacks. He knows what he's doing behind every move. And so I think people finally need to give him the credit that he deserves, because he's continued to prove that he can coach and he puts out a winner.
We're talking with Troy Walters of the Minnesota Vikings. Stay with us for just a minute here. We pick up the action now. 3rd and 13 for the North All-Stars. 2 minutes left to go here in the first half of the ball game. North leading the South by a score of 7-0. Ferris looking to throw the ball. Now he comes back the other way. He's got some room to run if he wants to. Fires downfield. Diving catch. They're going to say a reception down here at the 40-yard line. Great catch by Grimmett, who's come up with some big plays in this ball game for the North All-Stars.
Matthew Grimmett just keeps coming up big for the North, and Ferris did a great job on the run on that play.
And we've got an injured player here as well right now for the South All-Stars, and hobbling off to the near sideline, Reggie Murphy, a defensive end from Coleman, Texas. Troy, talk about the importance of FCA and events like this to raise funds for the important work done by FCA chapters like the one here in the Big Country.
Well, FCA does a great job. It's a great organization to reach young kids and tell them how important a personal relationship with Jesus Christ is, because, that's what's gotten me thus far. And I think when you have that priority straight, then everything else, all the other aspects of life will follow and be successful.
First down and 10 now for the North All-Stars, and this is going to be Chase Holland now in the ball game, a quarterback on this first down and 10 play from the 40-yard line. Holland on a quarterback draw to the 45 to the 50. He's got first down yardage as he spun down at the 49-yard line of the South, and that's going to be another gainer for the North All-Stars with 1:17 left to go here in the first half. Troy, your thoughts on this All-Star game so far? You've been impressed by the level of play you've seen?
Oh, yeah, it's very competitive. I was on the sideline, and the South team came out, and, man, they were big. And, just watching, you can hear the hitting from the sideline, from the stands, and it's very competitive. It's everything I expect in Texas high school football.
And now Aaron Bird being helped off to the near sideline, a little woozy, the free safety, the former Cooper Cougar. First down and 10 for the North All-Stars with 1:09 left to go, and the clock is now rolling. 7-0 lead for the North All-Stars as they've got the ball at the South 48-yard line. Back in the ball game at quarterback now is Chase Ferris from Colorado City. Looking to throw to the left side. Now he's going to run with the ball. He's to the 45 to the 44-yard line before he's bent back on the play. And helping to make the stop just in for the South All-Stars is going to be Jarrett DeBusk from Comanche, Texas. and a timeout's been called by the North All-Stars to stop the clock with 47 seconds left to go. Troy, any more thoughts before you have to leave us?
You know, I'm just trying to enjoy being in Texas once again. You know, I really loved Texas the time I was here, especially the football aspect of it, playing high school football, the support around the community that the high school football gets. You know, I just am happy to be back and around this game, and I'm going to cherish every bit of it the rest of the game. It's a good game, and then head back to Minnesota and get to work.
All right.
All right.
That does it for me.
Troy Walters from the Minnesota Vikings, thanks for being with us. Let's see if we can get your dad on microphone here for just a moment. His dad, Trent Walters, who is a defensive coach for the Minnesota Vikings. And Trent, you were the speaker last night at the Sharing the Victory Banquet over at the Teague Special Events Center. What were some of the things you talked about at last night's Sharing the Victory Banquet?
Well, we just talked about establishing a personal relationship with Jesus Christ and what that means in your life, and also as you go through life, when we try to control things, we usually mess up. And when we put everything in God's hands and let Him control things, and that's usually when we're successful.
Were you impressed by the level of play you've seen so far in this ball game here this evening?
Very impressed, and it's typical of high school football. You know, it's, I think they play great football in the state of Texas, and it just shows here with this all-star team that it's great football and great hitting. And
second down, Ferris throws deep down the middle, and that's going to be intercepted. And coming up with a pick down here inside the 15-yard line for the South All-Stars, that's going to be Deacon Burns, who comes up with the interception, the first turnover of the night committed by the North All-Stars. South gets it back with 39 seconds left to go here in the first half.
Looked like Burns was going to be burned, was burned on that play, but the ball hung up in the air just a little bit, and he was able to recover. And you know, his speed is really unbelievable. He's able to make up ground.
First down and 10 now for the South All-Stars. They get the ball back with 39 seconds left to go. Okay, Coach, what would you do in this situation?
I would just run the ball out, kill the clock, and going into halftime and make adjustments.
Okay, we'll see if they will do what you... Jordan Neal is going to throw the ball right side, and a diving catch across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. That's going to be T.J. Douglas from Stephenville with the reception. Hurry-up offense right now for the South All-Stars. 25 seconds left to go, and there we are here at Shoutwell Stadium. And now they'll quickly spike the ball to stop the clock with 20 seconds left to go. Trent?
Now, you have to understand now, I'm a defensive coach, so...
You'd want to get them in so that the offense can adjust and your guys can rest.
Yeah, plus you don't want to turn over in this situation and give them a quick field goal touchdown.
Okay. Talk about the Minnesota Vikings. What's it like to have your son on the same team?
It's exciting. You know, he went to Stanford, and I was able to see him play maybe once a year while he was at Stanford because we had our own schedule. And to have him on the team now, I'm able to watch him practice and also see him play, and it's a great feeling.
Third down and short yardage now for the South All-Stars. They trail 7-0. Lots of time here by Jordan Neal. Now he's chased out of the pocket, fires downfield, and that ball is going to be incomplete. And getting back to what you were talking about just a few minutes ago, almost the South committing a turnover.
That's
just
exactly right.
You defensive guys know what you're talking about.
Yes, we do. we have a philosophy that you want to always make sure that you don't lose, and then you're able to win.
Exactly, and that's great stuff. That's Babe Ruth, right?
That's right. That's right. Newt Rockne.
Yogi Berra, somebody like that.
What got you originally into coaching? What made you want to go that direction with your career?
Well, my junior high PE teacher was a good coach, and he coached me as a track guy, and also in baseball. And when I went to high school, I just wanted to be like him and try to impress. Not impress, but influence kids the way he influenced me.
And that's what led you eventually, I guess, in that same vein, into your work with FCA.
Yes, no question about it. I think as leaders, as coaches, we have a responsibility to try to...
The punt down here by the South All-Stars, killed by DeBusk as the gun sounds to end the first half of play. The North leading 7-0. why don't you finish that thought for us, Trent?
Yeah, to be a positive role model, try to be a positive influence on kids, and I think it's a great opportunity for coaches to get involved in the FCA and to be a positive influence on kids, because this day and age is tough on kids. There are a lot of negative influences out there, and we need to combat that with coaches and teachers who stress the spiritual aspect of their lives.
Trent Walters, thanks for being with us here at the half.
It's a great pleasure.
You bet. Trent Walters, assistant coach for the Minnesota Vikings, thanks for being with us at the half. We go to halftime with our score. The North leading the South All-Stars 7-0 in the Big Country All-Star Football Classic. Special presentations and some player profiles coming up next. Stay with us. This is the Big Country All-Star Football Classic on KTAB TV.
When I left the huddle, having a positive attitude made all the difference.
I can! I can!
And just like these athletes, you can have an I can attitude, whether it's at work or at play. Being positive motivates and encourages those around you.
I can! I can!
The FCA has an I can attitude when it comes to students. Arrow dealerships invite you to find out more about the FCA in your area. The I can attitude, it's catching on.
Jeff Burrow Foundation Repair has been serving the Big Country since 1962. Jeff is now the authorized dealer for American Steel Piers, a patented system that offers a lifetime limited warranty. The procedure for American Steel Piers is quick and clean, with minimal damage to your lawn and landscape. If your home is showing signs of foundation stress, Jeff Burrow Foundation Repair will give you a free estimate and go the extra distance to keep you on a firm foundation.
If you think your house needs leveling, just call my dad, Jeff Burrow.
We love to see you smile.
When you see some of the outrageous values here at McDonald's, you just won't be able to hide your smile.
On Wednesdays, the classic McDonald's hamburger is just 39 cents. That's right, the burger that started it all is just 39 cents on Wednesdays. There's more. On Sundays, smile at a 49-cent cheeseburger. Talk about outrageous values.
We love to see you smile.
Wednesdays and Sundays are outrageous value days at McDonald's.
The KTAB Chase Lab.
David Bacon back here at Shotwell Stadium along the sidelines as this is the Big Country All-Star Football Classic. Joined here by Steve Tatum, the president of the local chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Steve Keenum, McMurray athletic director and head football coach, very key in the development of the local chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And Steve, we're going to have some fun right now.
Let's do it.
All right. We're joined first by Paul Browerfind from St. Paul United Methodist Church. Paul, why is St. Paul United Methodist Church helping out FCA?
Well, David, we believe that youth are the future of our country and of Abilene here, and that we really do support Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and this is one way that we can do that and reach out and touch many, many youth here in Abilene and throughout the Big Country.
All right.
Thank you very much.
And how big is that check?
$100. $100.
All right, $100. All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
And now here comes Sandra Carricker. Now she works for KTAB, but you're making a presentation on behalf of?
Jeff Burrow House Leveling and Foundation Repair. And their motto is keeping you on a firm foundation. And they're great supporters of FCA because they believe that FCA is keeping the athletes of the Big Country on a firm foundation. So they have a contribution of $100.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And now Mary Kay Morrison from Arrow Ford. And this is a big check, literally and figuratively, Mary Kay.
Yes, we are so pleased to be here and be a part of this great second annual football game. And we are so pleased to present you with the $1,000 check from Arrow Ford.
And why is Arrow Ford supporting FCA?
Well, we just feel like that's the way to reach our kids these days. And that's the heart of it is, in our future is the kids of today. And FCA, they believe in the I can attitude. And, you know, that's our campaign now. So we believe in FCA.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Kay.
Now, don't go away, Steve. Also, Haskell National Bank would like to make a presentation of $100 as well to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So how does all this money and how will this money be used by FCA locally?
Well, it's going to help support the students to go to leadership camp, athletic camps throughout the year, retreats, programs, setting up huddles, giving materials, resources to schools, chartering the huddles throughout the Big Country area.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. We'll be back with more from Shotwell Stadium in just a moment, right here on KTAB.
is we're in an economic slowdown.
I don't think so. At Era Ford, we've chosen not to.
Nada.
9.
What?
Next year, no way we're going to participate in this, quote, unquote, slowdown.
We know that what we give out, we get back.
So we're growing positive, enthusiastic excitement.
It's an I. I.
10, attitude. Come see for yourself.
Aló. Francisco, ¿en dónde estás?
Where is Francisco?
¿Y Daniel?
In the hospital?
Sí, eso ya lo sé. Sí, ya me lo dijiste.
He broke his
pero dime
back.
exactamente en dónde estás.
¿De quién? But how?
Está en la finca.
He tried to eat the loaded burrito again.
Esa señora está ayudando.
I told him to lift with the legs. The new loaded burrito, dramatically bigger, at Bueno. Now open late.
Now it's summer, you can travel far. Texas road trip in your new Ford car. Summer savings days are here.
And the place to start is at your Texas Ford dealer. Now, during summer savings days, choose 2.9 financing or 1,000 cash back on a new Focus, 0.9 or 1,500 cash on Mustang.
F-O-R-D, spell summer fun. Summer savings days are here.
Welcome back to Shotwell Stadium, the FCA Big Country Classic. The North All-Stars are leading the South All-Stars by the score of 7-0. All this week here on KTAB, we have been profiling some of the players in tonight's FCA Big Country Classic. Now we introduce you to Cooper quarterback Jordan Neal, Brownwood linebacker Chris Copeland, Brownwood running back Deacon Burns, and Ballinger running back Cesar Martinez.
Can't think of any other thing that I'd rather be doing than playing football, especially with some of these great athletes from the big country. Yeah, when you say career, meaning 1 year for me, but it's really hard for me to describe it. It was just so much fun. Just being with your friends is the main thing about it, and you know, you got to say goodbye to a lot of them, and you hate to see your season end, especially before you reach your goal. But I don't have any regrets. We left everything out on the field every game, and I never could have expected the honors that I got that came from the numbers that I put up, but I can honestly say that I made a goal for myself to go out there and be the best, and you know, I honestly set a goal to throw for 3,000 yards. I never said it, you know, I never came out and said that kind of thing because that distracts from winning and the main purpose of being out there on the field, fellowship, you know, and that's what I get out of it, is being with your friends and learning about them and having them learn about you, and it's a great way to open up and show your spiritual feelings.
It's an honor to me, it really was. And I was happy after football season over with. Coach Freeman came out and said, you know what, you're going to play for FCA. And I was honored to say, yeah, I want to play for it. And it's going to be fun. I can't wait to play. Yeah, that's fun. That's going to be real fun, like Stephenville, you know, that's our rivals right there. And I had like 4 or 5 guys on the team for Stephenville, and we're all getting along. You know, we get along off the field, but on the football field, you know, we never get along. But now playing on the same team is going to be pretty fun. And then playing against 1A, 2A, 3A, you know, it's all going to be fun. It's going to be new kids and meet new friends. I did all right, you know, running the ball. I could have done better a little bit passing, but running the ball, I did pretty good, more than I, you know, usually do. It was pretty fun. You know, we came together as a team, I thought, and we really did come together as a team. We not won as many games as we usually do, but, you know, we played hard, played with, you know, hard as we could, you know. We did all right, I thought. You know, it is a good cause, raising money for FCA. It's just, it's an honor to raise money for them. To me, it is. And I'm sure all of us, too.
Well, obviously it's a great honor to be selected as an all-star. Playing with guys from all different classes, you know. I've played with people from 4A and people from 3A, but we've got a guy from 6-man here. We have 5A players. And it's just an honor to play with different levels, and, you know, it's good that they get respected, you know, that just because, you know, they're in 6-man or 1A, you know, that doesn't mean they can't play ball, you know, so it's good that they get the respect and honor that we get too. 2000 football season went well, I think. Played for the Brownwood Lions, and I don't know, we had a good year. I think we could have done better, but ran into a roadblock, but I think we did well. And personally, you know, I was happy with the way I played. I'm an FCA officer at Brownwood High School, and I'm proud of that. And anything that helps the FCA, you know, I'm part of it.
It is a huge honor just to play with a lot of guys that, I mean, a lot of great athletes, good people that represent their communities, representing their schools in a good manner. I guess you could say it's awesome in a way. Playing against some of your enemies, playing against like the Abilene Wileys or the Stephenvilles, playing against the Brownwoods, and now everybody coming back together just to play together as a team and trying to make it a huge success. It's going to be great. Well, my 2000 season, I rushed for about 1,400 yards. It wasn't as good as I was hoping, but we ended up clinching a bi-district championship, which we haven't done in about 5 years, any sort of championship, and it became a huge honor. And well, FCA is really important to a lot of people around here. A lot of clubs, a lot of schools now, they have FCA, and it's a good thing to be around a lot of people keeping the faith.
This portion of the FCA football game is brought to you by Edward Jones.
It's not just about planning. It's about living. It's about offices nearby, where long-term relationships outweigh short-term gains. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
Whether you're a .com, a non-com, a hot mom, whether you got a stockpile or a rock pile, your wild Texas soul is about to feel different. Every minute in your Dodge is a minute worth living.
Dakota has been ranked most appealing compact pickup by J.D. Power & Associates. And now either club or quad cab gets you a $2,000 cash allowance or 0-9 financing. We call it the Texas twosome.
Different by a country mile.
Welcome back to Shotwell Stadium. We're at the half of the second annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic. The North All-Stars leading the South All-Stars by a score of 7-0. The difference in this ball game so far, an 11-yard touchdown pass from Chase Holland to Matthew Grimmett in the second quarter. The only touchdown so far in this ball game set up by an interception by Matthew Grimmett. Then he later scored the first touchdown on that pass from Chase Holland. We're live at Shotwell Stadium. The North leading this ball game. Why don't we take a look now at some of the young men who are playing on the North All-Stars in the second annual game to benefit the local chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
It'll be fun to see how I compare to other athletes around the big country, and just the guys that I've heard of, like Deacon Burns and Chris Copeland from Brownwood. Just those guys. It'll just be fun to get to play against them and just see how they play, compared to me. Then we got a couple coaches, Coach Hughes, Ronnie Hughes, and Coach Greason came in for the offense, and it just totally turned our whole team around. The attitudes changed. Just the mindset that we had going into the season changed tremendously. A little work and a big heart is all I got. I mean, I'm not the most talented and not the most fastest person, but just my heart, I guess, got me where I could play. In the playoffs, I guess that's just the big crowds and all the fans backing me. It just pumped me up a little more to play harder. A friend of mine, John Gonzalez, he just started a FCA small group at a friend of ours' houses, and so it's just been really fun to get to around the FCA, environment and just to be a part of the whole thing. It's a great honor. I mean, to see all these guys that I've watched play, I mean, they're awesome. It's good to be able to be recognized with the rest of them, and I just hope I'm going to have a lot of fun. It's going to give me a chance to test myself, I guess, to see really what I can do and what I need to improve on, and it's going to be interesting. And we were 13-1, and we had a great season. We had a lot of fun, and you always wish you could play the next game. I mean, we were 2 off from Golden State, and I didn't want that to be the last time I got to play, and here's another chance for me to go at it again.
We were all friends. I mean, everybody hung out with everybody. And, I mean, just being friends like that, you know, there's always going to be someone having your back. And that's one of the reasons we won, is because we were all just a big team, really. It's Fellowship of Christian Athletes. It's an opportunity to get out here and not only show your athletic ability, but show your Christian way of life and just represent it.
That's a big honor. I mean, growing up all these years, getting to hear about all the different 4A and 5A big-time players and even the smaller schools, getting to hear them, finally getting a chance to play with them, see if you got what it takes to play with them. It's a big honor. Our team, we finished 8-4. We lost in the second round of the playoffs, but we did pretty good. We were the district runner-up in 5-3A behind Wally. We did pretty good. I did real well, I think. I made a pretty big impact on the team. I had one of the best averages around. I had 24 catches for 565 yards. Which ain't bad. I think FCA, it's a real good cause. I mean, it stands for something strong, and there's a lot of people in it, and has a lot of support, and they just put on a good deal. Just keep making kids make the right decision and just keeping them focused. Oh, yeah, it's a big honor. I mean, there's lots of great football players here, and it's just an honor to be able to just get to come and play with them and even be on the same field with some of these guys, you know, because, I mean, it's a lot of good players here. It's a big honor. Yeah, it's exciting to get to play against them and guys you played against and guys you haven't played against, you just heard about on the news and seen on TV, 2 or 3 classifications higher than you know, and it's real exciting. It's going to be fun, I think. It went great. We went to the quarterfinals, and, I mean, it was just like, it was a dream. I mean, we all played together good, and we did a lot better than anybody ever thought we would, and played together and have made a lot of good friends along the way and had fun. Oh, yeah, I'm proud to, anytime, you know, you do something for a good cause like Fellowship of Christian Athletes, you're proud to be in it and stuff, and it has a lot to do with God and stuff, and that's real important.
Oh, yes, sir. It's a great honor just to be picked with some of the best football players around in West Texas. It's a great tradition Texas always had, and I'm very privileged to be a part of it. Yes, sir. It's always a new experience to go out there and play with people, especially like some of the 4A and 5A kids that I've never played against before. It'll be lots of fun. It was a pretty good season. We were 9-1 or 9-2 after the playoffs, district champs. We got beat in the first round of the playoffs, but compared to the 1-9 season we had last year, it was a big turnaround. I did all right. I guess I did all right. I was all district and all big country and all West Texas quarterback, and I thought I did good, but I figure I probably could have done better when it comes down to it. Oh yes, it's a great cause. It's always something that's gotten people involved in something. I think it's a great deal that they let people know that God is in control of everything, and knowing that he's the whole meaning for all of this, and it's a great cause for the community and the players around.
Guys, this is Michael. It's his first day.
What are y'all doing? We're making eye cans. Eye can? What's an eye can?
It's a symbol.
A symbol of what?
A symbol of our commitment.
Our beliefs.
Our attitude.
It's our way of saying that I will do everything I can.
I can.
I can.
Because at Arrow Ford, having a positive attitude
It's something I can do every day.
This I can attitude is contagious. Come see for yourself.
It's not just about saving money. It's about spending time, just dropping by and creating bonds rather than simply buying them. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
Some people buy a Saturn because they get a lot for their money. Others get one because it's fun to drive. In fact, there are plenty of good reasons to own a Saturn. We ought to know. We've been making them for 10 years. Come to think of it, that's another reason right there. The Saturn 10-year anniversary.
Get 0.9% APR for 60 months on all 2001 Saturns. For residency and other restrictions, see participating retailer.
Number 16, Jordan Neal.
Welcome back to Shotwell Stadium. The North All-Stars are out in front of the South All-Stars by the score of 7-0 here at Shotwell Stadium, the FCA Big Country Classic football game. Joining me now are Coach Denny Faith from the North All-Stars in Albany and Coach Mike Copeland from the South All-Stars in Stephenville. First of all, we'll start with Coach Faith. Coach Faith, I know that you were a little concerned because of the size and the number of really outstanding, talented players that they have over on the South. You got to be pleased with what's gone with your team.
Well, we've been real fortunate. We've got a couple of turnovers and had pretty good field position, and you know, I think that's been a factor in the game right now. We're going to have to be real careful in the second half because all the talent they do have. If we don't start getting some pressure on the quarterback somewhere, if we can't figure out how to do that, we're going to be in trouble.
Now, I know defensively, though, y'all have been able to stop him, come up with a couple of big turnovers. I guess that's played a role.
Yeah, but we're putting way too much pressure on our secondary right now to try to stay with those guys. If we can't figure out a way to get some pressure on them, then it could be a long half for us.
Offensively, Chase Hall and the wishbone guy has come through with that touchdown pass. Talk a little bit about that play.
Well, Chase is just a good athlete. They ran wishbone at Roscoe, but he can throw the ball too. He's a good quarterback. And Chase Ferris is doing a good job at quarterback right now. Both those guys are handling the offense real well. You know, we put a lot of stuff on this week, and those guys have stepped in there, and they're doing a great job. And right now, we're real proud of what our offensive line's doing too. Against some real talented South players. So protection for us and getting pressure on them is going to be real important in the second half.
All right, Coach Faith, thank you. And now over to the South All-Stars, Coach Mike Copeland. Coach, I guess disappointed you didn't get any points on the board, but still looked like the team was able to move the football a little bit.
Yeah, you know, this football game lasts 48 minutes. And, you know, we knew it was going to be a great football game. I mean, they can say what they want. This is an all-star game. They've got great players on that other side of the field. You know, I've listened to that all week. They've got great football players, and they've really executed, ran the option really well. Hit us with a couple of big passes. What we've got to do, we've got to eliminate turnovers, you know, and take care of the ball. We've had it down inside the red zone a couple times, turned it over. You can't do that against a good football team. They're a very good football team.
Defensively, your team has played well. Only giving up the one score, and it was off a turnover. But more or less, when you've gotten an honest effort, made them go the length of the field, you guys have done a good job.
Right. Well, you know, we knew we were going to play great defense. We know we're going to be able to move the ball. We've got to do a better job on the option. I thought Coach Faith and his staff did a great job of executing, made some great calls. The first half, and you know, the good thing about the football game, it's not over at halftime, and so, you know, that's what we try to tell our kids. Let's go in, let's play 24 minutes, and let the chips fall where they will.
You did have a couple of guys limp off and kind of stagger off. Update us on Aaron Bird and Jared DeBusk.
I don't think Aaron will play any of the second half. Jared DeBusk will. Ryan Atchison may not. So, you know, we've got two or three kind of nicked up a little bit, but at this point in time, I don't think it's anything serious, which we're thankful for.
All right. Good luck, Coach, in the second half, and thanks for stopping with us. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be right back with the second half of this football game. The North All-Stars are out in front of the South All-Stars. That score is 7-0. The Big Country All-Star Football Classic will continue in a moment.
When I left the huddle, having a positive attitude made all the difference.
I can! I can!
And just like these athletes, you can have an I can attitude, whether it's at work or at play. Being positive motivates and encourages those around you.
I can! I can!
The FCA has an I can attitude when it comes to students. Arrow dealerships invite you to find out more about the FCA in your area. The I can attitude, it's catching on.
Tell the kids it's your turn to choose the restaurant. What'll they do? Ground you?
Black-eyed peas.
Bank customers in Abilene needed a bank that could make loan decisions right here, today. Plus a bank that is conveniently located for personal banking needs. From mortgage lending, new home construction or remodeling, to commercial business or personal loans. Haskell National Bank is about local bankers who can make local decisions effectively for you. Haskell National Bank, 3202 Buffalo Gap Road. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender since 1890.
Come in for a good, healthy bite, where the drinks have one, too.
Black-eyed peas.
Thank you, Big Country, from everyone at KTAB News.
Welcome back to Shotwell Stadium. David Bacon with you here. We're at the half of the North-South All-Star Game, the second annual Big Country Football Classic here at Shotwell Stadium. And right now, the South All-Stars being recognized by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, all the players who are playing in this ball game, getting a plaque and being introduced to the crowd here with their parents at Shotwell Stadium. Good crowd watching tonight's ball game, and all the proceeds going to benefit the local chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. A while ago, we had those check presentations, and quite a bit of money being raised by this ball game the last couple of years. Before this ball game was played, there was no local leader for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Now there's a full-time director for this area, and that's all directly attributable to the funds raised by this Big Country All-Star Football Classic the last couple of games. And for many of these young men, it might be actually the last time they ever wear a football uniform. So one last chance to perform in front of the hometown crowd. And the instances of some of these young men, they are going off to play their college football somewhere else. For example, Aaron Bird at Harvard. This will be his last chance to play here at home in front of his parents and friends. So a neat atmosphere with this Big Country All-Star Football Classic. Also the fact you've got a mix of players all the way from 6-man and 1A football players all the way up to Class 5A. And they all get a chance to play here together one last time in front of an appreciative crowd at P.E. Shotwell Stadium as you see the players being introduced and the presentation of their plaques. Taking a look at some of the first half statistics in this ball game, the North All-Stars leading by a score of 7-0. The only touchdown in this ball game coming on an 11-yard touchdown pass from Chase Holland to Matthew Grimmett, and that kept a 10-play, 67-yard drive. And taking a look at some of the first half stats in this ball game, the North All-Stars with 8 first downs compared to 7 for the South All-Stars. The North All-Stars have rushed the ball 15 times for 71 yards. The South All-Stars, 11 carries for only 15 yards of yardage. Passing yardage for the North, 39 yards in the air. For the South, their big thrust has been throwing the ball 139 yards, throwing the ball in the first half. The North All-Stars, 4 of 12 with 1 interception. In the meantime, the South All-Stars, 10 of 19, but with 2 interceptions. And one of those interceptions set up the touchdown that currently gives the North its current 7-0 lead. Total offense so far in the ball game, the North All-Stars, 27 offensive plays for 110 yards. The South All-Stars, 30 offensive plays for 154 yards. Kickoff returns, 2 for 39 yards for the South All-Stars. As far as the punts are concerned, both teams punting twice here in the first half of the ball game. 2 punts for 41 yards for the North All-Stars, 2 punts for 47.5 yards for the South All-Stars. Time of possession, 10-41 for the North, 13-19 for the South. And so that's a look at some of our first half statistics. And not only do we have a mixture of players here, we also have a mixture of cheerleaders in this ball game as well. Young ladies from Breckenridge, Monday, Stanford, as well as Abilene, Cooper, and Abilene High and Snyder here tonight, helping to lead the cheers before this ball game.
And it's good to see that too. You know, these girls are hardly ever on the sidelines together, usually just working together. I mean, working against each other, sort of like football players, but getting a chance to meet some different girls.
Taking a look at some of the individual stats in this ball game for the North All-Stars in the first half, their leading ball carrier, Nick Anthony from Roscoe, 2 carries for 25 yards. Chase Holland, 3 carries for 20 yards. Jason Woodruff from Big Spring, 4 carries for 19 yards. Joe Tidwell from Albany, 2 carries for 10 yards. As far as pass completions, Chase Ferris, 3 of 11 with 1 interception for 28 yards. Chase Holland, the big pass in this ball game. He's 1 for 1, but that one was the 11-yard scoring strike. That's the difference in this ball game. Matthew Grimmett, 3 catches for 42 yards, and of course he's made the touchdown catch. Ricky Wilson, 1 catch for -3. In the meantime, the individual stats for the South All-Stars, Jarrett DeBusk, 1 carry for 21 yards before he was injured in the second quarter of the ball game. Deacon Burns, 5 carries for 19 yards for the South All-Stars. DeBusk from Comanche, Burns from Brownwood. Caesar Martinez from Ballinger, 1 carry for 2 yards. Sonny Ainsworth from Ranger, 1 carry for -1. Jordan Neal, 10 completions and 19 attempts with 2 interceptions, but he has thrown for 139 yards of total offense in the first half of this ball game. His favorite target has been T.J. Douglas of Stephenville, 5 catches for 54 yards. Aaron Bird has made 1 huge catch for 38 yards. Chase Fishback, 1 catch for 15. Jacob Massey, 1 catch for 15 yards. So that's a look at some of the individual stats here in the first half of this ball game. And we saw the officials down there on the field. And once again, we'd like to remind all of those who are getting in that football mode right now, they need officials for the 2001 season for the Big Country Referees Association. So if you're interested in calling football games, they'd love to have you come give them a call because they really do need officials for the upcoming season.
One thing you don't really realize is how many games they have. It's not just varsity, and it's just not here in Abilene. They're all over the Big Country. They've got junior varsity. They need people to call sophomore and freshman games, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade games. I mean, they need officials terribly bad to do 100 or so games.
And there are just not enough officials to go around. So if you've ever been to one of these football games and gripe about the officiating, here's your chance to do something about it.
Exactly.
And you work your way up. You're going to get those 7th and 8th grade games and then the sub-varsity games and work your way up to the Class 5A varsity on down the line. I mean, you're just not going to walk in and do your first game here at Shoutwell Stadium. But I was talking to one guy a couple of years ago. He took an officiating job because he and his wife had just had a baby, and he got it for what he called diaper money. Yep. And here he was 15 years later still doing the ball games, although it wasn't diaper money anymore, but it sure was a welcome addition to the checkbook every month.
Now you go on vacation every year with that money. Yeah, that's it.
We're at the half of this Big Country All-Star Football Classic here live on KTAB TV. Some of the referees, we were just talking about now the cheerleaders entertaining the crowd here at Shoutwell Stadium, and I think a good turnout for this ball game here tonight to watch these Big Country All-Stars in action.
Exactly, and it's good to see people who are still wanting to see football here in June, because we're still 2 full months, I guess almost 3 months away from live action football. So it's nice to get a little fix here at the beginning of June, and it should carry us over until the Cowboys start their training camp in July, and then the season will get started late August.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys will be opening up their training camp in mid-July up at Midwestern State in Wichita Falls, but they're not going to be up at Wichita Falls for the full length of training camp. They'll only be up there for a couple of weeks through the end of July, maybe into early August, and then they're going to go to Oxnard, California and wrap up training camp out there. The South All-Stars now making their way back onto the field here, or check that, that's the North All-Stars, as they are making their way back out on the field, and now they'll be joined shortly by the South All-Stars here at Shoutwell Stadium. 7-0, the North leading this ball game, and David, the amazing thing looking at the first half stats, only 1 penalty for 5 yards so far in this ball game, and that was an illegal procedure call very early in the first quarter.
Very first drive, as a matter of fact. It is mind-blowing, as a matter of fact. I wouldn't just say it's remarkable. The fact that these guys haven't played football since some of them, I guess, late December, but most of them since late November. They haven't put on pads, and now they've had a week to work, and now they're working pretty well together. Now just hopefully for their team's sakes, the offenses are going to get things going, get a few more points put up on the board.
South All-Stars, I thought it was very interesting, the comment that you elicited a few moments ago from Mike Copeland, the head coach for the South All-Stars from Stephenville, talking about the mind game being played by Denny Faith, the head coach for the, and I say that I mean that in the best kind of way, but Hugh Sandifer did the same thing last year, just, the other team has all this talent, and his team, the South All-Stars, a year ago won 21-6 in this ball game, and Denny Faith with a 7-0 lead here at the half with his North All-Stars here in 2001.
And it's no accident that Coach Faith gets his teams into the playoffs every year. You know, for the last 7 or 8 straight years, they've gotten into the playoffs. And part of it is him, because he's able to get the kids thinking that they can do even more than they can. He's got them pointed in the right direction, which is a big thing. But Coach Copeland, you know, he's not buying for a second. He knows that they've got some good football players over there, and so do we. The North isn't just a bunch of 3rd and 4th teamers.
And you see some of the young men there getting stretched for the second half of this ball game. Now remember, it was the North All-Stars that won the coin flip, and they deferred to the second half. We still have a breeze coming out of the south, but it's not the factor that you can see sometimes out here at Shoutwell Stadium. You still want to have it to your back, especially the South All-Stars with their passing attack. Jordan Neal, we saw him warming up a few minutes ago, 10 of 19 for 135 yards here in the first half alone.
Yeah, he had a good game, and he and Douglas hooked up a couple of times, and he and Aaron Bird hooked up a couple of times. He had an okay game, except for 2 completions that went to the guys in the white shirts instead of the red.
Cody Kelly, the North All-Star captain, going out there to meet Deacon Burns, and Sterling Doty for the South All-Stars. 7-0 the North leading this ball game, thanks to one of those interceptions thrown by Jordan Neal. And it seems so strange to see Jordan throw an interception. He did amazingly well this past year. And here to start the second half of this ball game, the North All-Stars will be going on offense, and the South All-Stars kicking off will have the wind to their back in the third quarter. So Mike Copeland wanting to climb back into this ball game here in the third quarter with that wind to his back.
And now his defense just has to kind of play the way they did most of the first half. The North All-Stars really didn't get that much going offensively. The South defense just needs to keep that going, make sure the offense gets the football in good field position, try to at least get this thing tied up and see what kind of game we can have in the second half.
There was one of the plaques handed out to the players here during the half, that one going to one of the South All-Stars, and a proud parent displaying that here at Shoutwell Stadium tonight. South All-Stars kicking off to start the third quarter of play, trailing 7-0 to the North All-Stars. And what a benefit this is to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, who a year ago at this time did not even have a local office. You had Steve Keenum over at McMurray, but as many things as Steve's trying to do on the reservation, they needed somebody to handle those FCA chores on a full-time basis. Last year's game got that office established with Steve Tatum, and now there is a full-time director for the Big Country chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and that's what this game's all about here, to keep that going here in the Big Country.
And it'll make all the difference in the organization to have a full-time staff member.
Back deep to receive the kickoff, this is Woodruff. The advance on the ball by Wes Jones, and he punches it downfield. Woodruff picks it up at the 5-yard line, up the middle of the field to the 20. Oh, and he's still on his feet out to the 30-yard line, and that's where he'll be brought down on special teams play. And getting up from the bottom of the stack for the South All-Stars is going to be Justin Monk, another one of those Stephenville Yellow Jackets in this ball game here for the South All-Stars.
There are a lot of Stephenville Yellow Jackets in this game, and there are also a lot of Stephenville Yellow Jackets making plays in this football game. You can kind of get an idea of why they've had so much success over the years in football. They just got a lot of good football players.
Well, they also like coming to Shoutwell Stadium. There for a while they had an amazing string of success here, and they always like to get as many playoff games here as they could. Ferris in the ball game, hands off to Woodruff, and he's into the meat grinder for a gain of just a couple of yards right up the gut before he's bent back. And helping to lead that charge defensively just then is going to be Harmon, one of those Stephenville Yellow Jackets we were talking about. Clayton Harmon, 6'6", 290-pound defensive tackle for the South All-Stars.
And also in on that play was Chris Copeland, from Brownwood, one of Stephenville's chief rivals, actually their chief rival, teaming up to make that stop.
Now in the ball game, Nick Anthony at the tailback position. He was the leading rusher in the first half for the North All-Stars, the former Roscoe Plowboy. They fake the handoff. Ferris throws downfield, and that's going to be way over everybody's head, actually over on the bench on the far sideline. The catch is made over there by Tremaine Dials for the North All-Stars, John Niffen from Clyde. and now it'll be 3rd down and long for the North All-Stars.
Chase did a good job on that pass. He threw it out of bounds. The only way that the only person who was going to be able to get it was his wide receiver. Cesar Martinez was there on the coverage, and he was able to prevent, he was there for the coverage, but there's no way he was going to get an interception on that play.
And he was trying to throw into the wind, throwing against his body. So 11:09 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. North All-Stars facing a 3rd down and 8 at their own 32-yard line, leading the ball game 7-0 over the South All-Stars. We're just starting the 3rd quarter of play here at Shotwell Stadium. Ball game coming your way live tonight here on KTAB TV. Shotgun formation. Ferris sprints out, fires downfield. That's going to be over the intended receiver's head. Actually, I don't think he ever looked back to see if the ball was coming. That was Jason Choate from Big Spring, the intended receiver, but he never looked back for the ball. It's an incomplete pass and brings up a punting situation now for the North All-Stars.
And good pressure for the 2nd play in a row by the defensive line by the South All-Stars. They were able to get pressure on Ferris. He was having to run against his throwing motion to try to get a completion off.
So now this brings up a punting situation. And in the first half of this ball game, Mason Grimes punted twice for a 41-yard average for the North All-Stars. Boots this one. That's going to be over Martinez's head and takes a north roll inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. And it'll be 1st down and 10 at the 26-yard line. A little extracurricular activity here, about 10 yards past the ball downfield. And with 10:52 left to go, and we evidently do have a flag down on the field, and let's see what this is all about. It would be only the 2nd penalty in this ball game. The officials talking it over at the 50-yard line.
Be interesting if there was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in an all-star game. It'd be kind of surprising.
Now the ball is going to be spotted down here at the 26-yard line. That's what the official has it in hand. And they're going to say a personal foul against the South All-Stars.
And it's a dead ball as well.
So that will put the South even further into a hole down here on their end of the field with 10:52 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Half the distance to the goal line. So it's going to be the first penalty in this ball game against the South All-Stars. Half the distance to the goal line. It'll be 1st down and 10 down here at the 13-yard line.
That's quite a hole to try to dig yourself out of when you're behind, but with the fire, this team has a lot of firepower. If anybody can dig themselves out, they can.
Well, it's Jordan Neal, and remember, he does have the wind to his back. Pitch goes to Deacon Burns. Burns with a hold of the 20-yard line, and he'll be spun down along the near sideline, finally taken out of bounds, helping to make the tackle. And now some words being exchanged down here. Bo Butler helping to lead that charge. Also there, Cody Kelly for the North All-Stars, but not before Deacon Burns might have enough for the 1st down.
Looks like he was able to pick up about 9 yards, about a yard short on that play. And Deacon doesn't like being behind, evidently, just from that run and then from his reaction after he got pushed out of bounds. He wants to make sure his team comes back and wins this game.
10:44 left to go, 3rd quarter. South with the ball, but they're trailing at 7-0 to the North All-Stars. Jordan Neal, pitch. This is going to be Cesar Martinez, and he falls forward to the 25-yard line, and that should be enough for the 1st down. Tell you what, some temper starting to flare in this ball game.
Want a cliche? These guys, they're competitors. They want to win the football game. It's, even though it is an all-star game, they say this about most all-star games. They kind of take it easy for the first couple of quarters. And they want to make sure they don't get hurt and all that. But then once it gets down to the nitty-gritty, they want to win.
Well, that was interesting comment from Denny Faith in today's edition of the Abilene Reporter News, where he was quoted as saying these guys were competitors in practice, and you're trying to tell them to take it easy in practice, and they were out there going full speed sometimes. 1st down and 10 for the South All-Stars at the 25-yard line. Hand off Cesar Martinez, and he gets back up to the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up 1 more yard there. Initial contact made just then by Lance Moore, the outside linebacker from Roby, and that slowed him down. It'll be a pickup of about 1 yard for the South All-Stars.
Moore has been in the vicinity or in on plenty of plays today, and this is a good example of a guy from Roby, a Class A school that's getting to play against the 5A linemen and the 4A linemen and 4A running backs, and he's in there making the stop, making the plays.
Less than 10 minutes left to go here in the 3rd quarter of play. Gain of 1 on that last carry. 2nd down and 9. Neal Play action, still has the ball, fires near sideline, caught 35 to the 30, and making the reception for a first down before he's tackled on the play. Picking up the first down just then is going to be Murphy for the South All-Stars, and that's going to be Reggie Murphy, a 6'4", 235-pounder from Coleman, Texas, and it's a first down for the South All-Stars.
Something Coach Faith said during the halftime interview was that he felt like his team had to get more pressure on Jordan Neal because they're putting way too much pressure on their secondary. There was an example of Neal having lots of time to find a wide receiver, and he found him.
Inside linebacker Bo Butler from Big Spring in on the tackle, but not before the South All-Stars has a first down at the 43-yard line. Give to Deacon Burns, dances to the outside, and he'll go out of bounds along the near sideline. Taking him out of bounds is going to be Dustin Threet, the outside linebacker from Haskell.
Nice job by Dustin Threet. Also a nice job by Deacon Burns to prevent either falling for a loss or not getting a gain at all. He kept his feet moving. He was dancing around and kept coming out here to the outside and beat a few people around the corner to pick up a couple of yards.
Gain of 2, as David was describing it. Second down and 8 now for the South All-Stars. Clock is stopped with 9:17 left to go in the third quarter. Line of scrimmage just shy of the South 45-yard line. 4 down linemen now. Pitch. This is going to be Deacon Burns, and he's tripped up behind the line of scrimmage by Cody Kelly. And that's a familiar sight here at Shotwell Stadium. Cody Kelly knifing through and makes the shoestring tackle, and Deacon Burns actually loses a yard back to the 43-yard line.
Getting in the backfield is one of Cody Kelly's specialties. He's kind of a small guy, and he's able to use that his mobility to get around blockers and cut in behind blockers and make the stop.
7-0, North with the lead. The South All-Stars wearing the dark uniforms here. The North All-Stars in the white jerseys, if you're just tuning in. It's a pitch to the right side. Deacon Burns, and he'll be ridden down by Moore, the outside linebacker from Roby, doing a tremendous job on a great open field tackle to prevent Deacon Burns from turning the corner and cutting upfield for a big gain.
Another great play by Moore. Also in on that play, John Gonzalez forced the pitch and really kind of forced the pitch before Jordan Neal wanted to get rid of it, and ended up that Moore was able to stop Burns.
So back deep to receive the punt now. This is going to be Choate, standing inside the 20-yard line for the North All-Stars. In the first half of this ball game, the punter for the South All-Stars did a tremendous job, averaging 47.5 yards. That was Chase Fishback, and he bombs this one. Choate hauls it in, gets away from one potential tackler. He's still on his feet to the 15, and he'll be out to about the 25-yard line before he's taken down on the play. And now we're going to have a penalty flag thrown here, and tempers really starting to flare.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, you hate to see this in what is basically an exhibition football game. But the competitive juices are really flowing in this one right now, and we saw some tempers flaring after the tackle was made at the 24-yard line. There is a flag down, David.
Looks like a nice punt there, 47 yards, but looked like it outkicked the coverage just a little bit and able to get a big return.
Personal foul called against the North All-Stars. So both teams have now been assessed major penalties, and now both coaches calling the players over to try to get things settled down with 7:43 left to go here in the third quarter of the ball game. 7-0 lead for the North All-Stars. And I think this is wise by both these coaches,
yeah.
Mike Copeland for the South, Denny Faith for the North, to try to get this thing back under control. The ball will be spotted back at the 12-yard line, where the North All-Stars will have a first down and 10 after they're flagged half the distance to the goal line for a personal foul.
And it's very strange to see this. I mean, really, because there is no reason not to like these guys particularly, and there's no bad blood, you wouldn't think. Evidently there's some, but just a little strange to see this in an all-star game. But the coaches are going to get them. We want you to win, but there's certainly no need to fight.
So the North All-Stars starting back down here in the hole. Now remember, here in the third quarter, the North All-Stars trying to move into the win. So if the South All-Star defensive unit can make a stop here, force a punt into the wind, theoretically the South All-Stars could come out of this with pretty good field position, but it's up to the defense right here to try to make a stop with the North All-Stars deep in their own end of the field. 7:43 left to go here in the third quarter. North protecting a 7-0 lead. In the ball game, at quarterback is Chase Ferris. Joe Tidwell, the single back along with Ferris in the backfield for the North as they go to the shotgun formation. And running with the ball is going to be Ferris. Comes to the near sideline and goes out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Chased out of bounds along the near sideline by the South All-Stars. And pushing him out of bounds is Reggie Murphy, the young man from Coleman.
Absolutely nobody fooled on that play right there. Clayton Harmon also there. Ferris had nowhere to run and did a very wise thing by running out of bounds.
Good crowd here at Shotwell Stadium. They had about 7,000 here a year ago for this ball game. I would surmise the crowd in excess of that here tonight, as the second annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic being played here at Shotwell Stadium. They got a break weather-wise. It was, of course, warm today, but now we got a timeout on the field. We'll take the timeout with them. 7:38 left to go, third quarter. Our score remains North 7, South nothing in the Big Country All-Star Football Classic right here on KTAB.
The rumor is we're in an economic slowdown.
I don't think so.
At Era Ford, we've chosen not to.
Nada.
9.
What?
Next year, no way we're going to participate in this, quote, unquote, slowdown.
We know that what we give out, we get back.
So we're growing positive, enthusiastic excitement.
It's an I. I.
10, attitude. Come see for yourself.
It's not just about making plans. It's about making a difference. It's about neighbors and taking an interest rather than merely earning it. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
Hey, it's summer, and you're in luck. That means savings on a new Ford truck. Summer savings days are here.
It's summer in the Lone Star State, and that means big savings on the best-selling trucks in Texas, including Ford F-150. Now with payments starting from just $179 a month. That's $179 a month. For a big selection and even bigger savings, get into your Texas Ford dealer today while summer savings days are here.
Not only do we have all-star football players, all-star cheerleaders here at Shotwell Stadium tonight. You see the crowd behind them here. We pick up the action, second down and 12 now for the North All-Stars. They lead 7-0, 7:38 left to go here in the third quarter, but the ball at the 11-yard line. Ferris wanting to pitch, does so. The ball on the ground back at the 5-yard line, and the South might have come up with a big turnover. The South apparently has got it at the 5-yard line. And the officials agree. Boy, a big turnover right there, and the South's in business.
Looks like Lee Swanson was the player for the South that was able to come up with that turnover. He was right there after the bad pitch, and he was able to get his arm in there and recover that football.
Lee, of course, played on the Wiley football team that went all the way to the Class 3A Division I state finals this year, and since then, Lee has signed a letter of intent with Texas A&M Commerce, so his mom and dad will make those drives to Tarleton State University and ACU and Angelo State to see Lee in action once he gets into the collegiate action. First and goal now. This is obviously the deepest penetration for the South All-Stars. They've got a chance to tie the ball game up here, and now they're going to call a timeout. They want to make sure with this opportunity at the 5-yard line that they're able to punch it in. Why don't we just keep it right here at Shotwell Stadium? 7:25 left to go here in the third quarter. 7-0 lead for the North All-Stars, but David, that lead is in jeopardy following that very costly turnover, and now that's 2 turnovers apiece by these teams in the All-Star game.
Exactly, and Coach Faith did say that he needed to make sure that they hung on to the football, and they needed to be careful because the South has so many talented players, and right there's a good example. The North defense is in a real bind now. They've got to come up with a big stop. I think what got that timeout, the South was one player short. The changeover, after the turnover, especially in a game where you're not familiar with all the procedures, one of the players was a little late getting out onto the field, but he's out there now and he's ready to go.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up this opportunity, although we will point out that when Tony Dorsett made that 99-yard run for the Dallas Cowboys, they only had 10 players on the field for that particular play.
And that play worked.
Yeah, sure
pretty well.
First and goal now for the South All-Stars after the brief timeout. Back to action, 7:25 left to go, third quarter. North leading 7-0, but that lead in peril right now after the turnover. And actually, the only touchdown so far in this ball game was set up by a South turnover, an interception thrown by Jordan Neal in the second quarter. Neal back in the ball game at quarterback. Play action, sprints out right side. He's got a man. They're going to say touchdown. Cesar Martinez with the catch, and the South All-Stars are on the scoreboard.
Martinez did an outstanding job of catching that football. It was a little underthrown, but he was able to come back and make a sliding catch as he was going into the end zone and get a touchdown there for the former Ballinger Bearcat.
Jordan Neal, the former Cooper Cougar, to Martinez, the former Ballinger Bearcat. Martinez, one of the players we featured, both those players actually, Neal and Martinez featured on our player profiles at halftime. And to attempt the extra point now, this is going to be Wes Jones from Coleman. Now remember, there's no rushing on these kicks, and this one is good. Our new score in the ball game. It's now the North 7, the South 7. 7:18 left to go, third quarter. We'll be back with more from Shotwell Stadium in a moment. This is the Big Country All-Star Football Classic on KTAB.
Guys, this is Michael. It's his first day.
What are y'all doing? We're making eye cans. Eye can? What's an eye can?
It's a symbol.
A symbol of what?
A symbol of our commitment.
Our beliefs.
Our attitude.
It's our way of saying that I will do everything I can.
I can.
I can.
Because at Arrow Ford, having a positive attitude.
It's something I can do every day.
This I can attitude is contagious. Come see for yourself.
Right now at your neighborhood Allsup, Snack Attack milk is on sale at an incredible price of just 79 cents for 1 pint bottles of homogenized 2%, 1% chocolate, and 1% chocolate. And the weather's right for grilling out, so pick up some tasty Bar S Franks in the 12-ounce package and an 8-pack of Tender Crust hot dog buns for just 69 cents each. And pick up a 6-pack or 3-liter of Coke or Diet Coke for just $1.69. Allsups, there's always one near you, and we're always open.
Allsups always.
The kickoff by the South All-Stars, who've just tied this ball game up 7-7, and Woodruff with the return across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And ironically, both touchdowns so far in this ball game. The North touchdown was set up by an interception in the first half. The South touchdown was set up by a North fumble at the 5-yard line here in the second half of the ball game. 7:09 left to go, third quarter, and we're all tied at 7-7. And the ball game is going to be Chase Ferris from Colorado City for the North All-Stars. They've got the ball at their own 35-yard line. Tidwell and Woodruff behind him. Handoff. Woodruff right side hammers his way out for about a 2-yard gain. Helping to make the tackle just then defensively for the South All-Stars on the play. That's going to be Brett Unger from Wiley. Now, Brett, a late addition. He was playing baseball last night for Wiley in the Class 3A Regional Finals. And I tell you what, Brett playing a huge role in Wiley's athletic success on their football team that got to the state finals, the track team that won the state championship, and the baseball team that got to the regional finals last night. Gain of 2, second down and 8. Brett, by the way, will stay here in Abilene to play his college football at ACU. Ferris, quarterback draw. He's to the 40-yard line, and that's where he'll be brought down on the play. It'll be a gain of about 4 yards. And helping to make the tackle just then for the South All-Stars, that's going to be Chris Copeland, the middle linebacker from Brownwood, another ACU recruit.
I did see Unger at halftime down there in the locker room, and I was surprised to see him myself. And he goes, I said, well, I'm surprised to see you. And he said, yeah, I am too. I'm surprised to be here. He's not sure he wants to be here right now. He'd rather be playing baseball.
Well, they came just one victory away from going back down to Austin for the first time since 1997. Third down and less than 5 needed for the first down for the North All-Stars at the 40-yard line. Give to Tidwell, first down yardage. He's to the 50, to the 45-yard line before he spun down on the play. It will be enough for the first down. Making the tackle for the South All-Stars is going to be Kelly Foster, the defensive back from Cisco, but not before it is a first down for Joe Tidwell in the north.
If people who have been watching the 50-yard line on KTAP for the last couple of years, they've seen that play up the gut by the Albany Lions quite often. They hand the ball to Tidwell, and he's usually able to break that first initial contact up the middle of the line, and then he'll get into the linebackers in the secondary and make those guys try to make the stop.
Well, he's stout. He's 5'11", 205 pounds. Ideal build for a fullback. He's got the first down. As a matter of fact, he was one of the leading rushers for the North All-Stars in the first half. 5.5 minutes left to go, third quarter, 7-7 ball game. First down and 10 at the 45-yard line. This is going to be Anthony, who was the leading ball carrier in the first half for the North All-Stars, but he only picks up 1 yard on that carry over the left side.
And one of the keys to this drive so far is that the North is going into the wind, and they've been able to use their running game on this particular drive to eat a few minutes off the clock. They've also been able to hang on to the football because on that last, their last possession, they had the fumble that set up the tying touchdown. This drive, they've hung on to the football. They've run the football and made the clock run.
Less than 5 minutes left to go here in the third quarter of a 7-7 ball game. Gain of about 1.5 yards on that last carry for Anthony. Now they go to nobody in the backfield behind Chase Ferris on this second down and long play. A young man from Colorado City who led the Wolves into the state playoffs with a pass that is going to be over the fingertips of the intended receiver, Grimmett, who was trying to run a slant pattern on the left side.
And throwing it over Grimmett's quite a challenge, really. He's a big, tall kid, and at 6'1", 175 pounds, but the ball did sail over him. And, one of the things Ferris had to do, he's got a huge defensive front in front of him, and he had to get it over those guys first, and the ball just happened to sail over Grimmett's head.
Stops the clock with 4:32 left to go here in the third quarter of this Big Country All-Star Football Classic. Glad you could join us live here tonight on KTAB. Don't forget, when the game is over with, Jennifer Woody, Sam Nichols, and Jason Holloway standing by with KTAB News, although we'll have to call it KTAB News at 11 tonight. Ferris wanting to throw the ball. Fires downfield, off the fingertips of the intended receiver and almost intercepted down here at the 30-yard line. Trying to make the diving catch was going to be Chris Copeland for the South All-Stars. Brings up fourth down, and now the North will have to punt into the breeze.
Nice job of throwing the football. It was right where it needed to be. The ball just went through Grimmett's hands on that particular play, and now the South's going to get the football back.
And back deep to receive the punt now for the South All-Stars. Back deep for them is going to be Kelly Foster, and also going back, Cesar Martinez. Foster from Cisco, Martinez from Ballinger. Martinez scoring the touchdown. And here's a bad snap, but since there's no rush, no pressure put on the punter, and he gets a sky-high kick. Now it takes a hop, and that ball is still live down to about the 11-yard line. Cody Kelly picked it up thinking maybe it brushed off of one of the South All-Stars, but the officials waving it dead at the 11-yard line. So an effective punt there by Grimes. Even though it was a high snap, he was able to get off a good high kick and got a favorable roll, pinning the South All-Stars deep in their own end of the field at their own 12-yard line.
And for Kelly, it was worth a shot. Defensive players don't get very many opportunities to score. Surely it touched a red jersey, he was thinking. So it was worth a shot.
South All-Stars get it back with the wind to their back. Jordan Neal, who's played the majority of this ball game at quarterback. Jarrett DeBusk was in there for a couple of plays, the young man from Comanche, but then he got racked up on a play, and we haven't seen him in the ball game since at quarterback. Pitch to Martinez, turns the corner to the 15-yard line, still on speed to the 20, 25, still out to the 30-yard line before he's finally tackled on the play. And helping to make the stop just then defensively for the North All-Stars, that's going to be John Nippen, the young man from Clyde, Texas, but not before. It's a big first down for the South All-Stars, and they're out of that hole.
Exactly. In District 5-3A, everyone that's in that district is saying, now that's the Cesar Martinez we've had to play for 3 years. They were wondering if he was ever going to graduate, I would imagine, but a great job of running by Martinez. He kept his legs churning, and he found the hole and made good yardage.
Less than 4 minutes left to go, third quarter, tie ball game. First down and 10 for the South All-Stars at their own 30-yard line. Neal at quarterback, trying to jitterbug back the other way. This is Martinez, and he spins across the 35 to the 36-yard line, and he's going to be a nice little chunk of change he picked up right there before he's tackled on the play by John Gonzalez, the former Abilene High Eagle, but not before a pickup of 6 yards.
As an example right there, you can tell he's a tough little guy to bring down. He keeps his feet moving. He's always moving, and he's really tough to bring down.
He led the Bearcats to the bi-district championship, and he was really proud of that. He was talking about that at the halftime in the player profile that you did, David, and how proud Ballinger was of getting back into the playoffs this year and going a little ways. From the 36-yard line, Neal, and that's going to be off the fingertips, threw it too low to the near sideline to Douglas along the near sideline, and that stops the clock with 3:07 left to go here in the third quarter.
That play didn't look like it was going to go very far either, though. Cody Kelly, Lance Moore, and several other, I think Bo Butler were also there to try to put a stop on Douglas before he ever got going anywhere. The ball just didn't make it to him.
So now it's going to be third down and 4 for the South All-Stars. Just over 3 minutes left to go, third quarter of a tie ball game here at Shotwell Stadium. Neal, play action. Lots of time. Now he'll be spun down on the play, and making the tackle for the North All-Stars. That's going to be Bo Butler from Big Spring, and they sack the quarterback, Jordan Neal, all the way back. They're going to spot him at the 28-yard line. That's going to be a loss of about 7 yards on that quarterback sack.
Now that's what Coach Faith was talking about at halftime. He wanted pressure on his quarterback, and there it was. Neal usually has had time to look for his third and fourth wide receivers. This time he had no chance of finding any receivers because Bo Butler was on him before he could do anything about it.
And Jason Choate now back to await the punt from the South All-Stars. And let's see who'll be punting. It'll be Fishback. Jones coming in now for the South All-Stars. Jones, the young man from Coleman. Clock is rolling with 2:18 left to go here in the third quarter, and some confusion here on who's on punt kickoff, punt coverage, and who's not for the South All-Stars, but apparently they've got the 11 on the field they want. Clock continues to roll as we approach 2 minutes left to go of the third quarter. High snap, but Fishback able to contain it, and he hammers this punt. Choate back at the 22-yard line, comes to the near sideline, sees an alley to the 40. He's still on his feet to the 50. Choate to the 40. Choate to the 35, and he'll be brought down at the 31-yard line. What a great return by John Choate. The Big Spring Steer puts the North All-Stars into the south end of the field.
It didn't look like initially he was going to be able to get anywhere. He had 4 red shirts in front of him at one time, but he's able to make all of them miss. Looks like that there is a conference between the officials. Let's see what's going on here.
Clock is stopped with 1:42 left to go here in the third quarter. 7-7 ball game. The officials talking it over. Now we've had some calls here in this ball game, especially here in the third quarter. Some personal fouls called against folks, and still the officials talking it over at the 31-yard line. Of course, we were talking about the players. The players haven't played since November. The officials haven't officiated since November. So a long discussion. Now they're going to wave off the flag. So they're going to wave it off. The punt will stand. The punt returned by Choate down to the 31-yard line. And the North All-Stars with a great opportunity here in the dying seconds of the third quarter to regain the lead against the South.
A 47-yard return there by Choate. The only thing that kept it from being a touchdown is Deacon Burns. Burns ran him down and was able to stop him. Now I believe that Coach Copeland's looking for an explanation on what was going on.
Mike Copeland taking over for Art Briles as the head coach at Stephenville. Briles having left after leading the Yellow Jackets to yet another state championship after the 1999 season, become an assistant at Texas Tech. And the longtime assistant, Mike Copeland, whose hometown is Clyde, was then elevated to the top position in Stephenville and got the Yellow Jackets back into the state playoffs last year. A key victory in Brownwood over the Brownwood Lions at Gordon Wood Stadium, and that catapulted them back into the state playoffs yet again. Now the official, after explaining things to Mike Copeland, will go over to explain things to Denny Faith, the head coach for the North All-Stars. And Denny, a longtime fixture. I think with the exception of Hugh Sandifer, I think Denny is the longest tenured coach at a big country high school.
Yes, he is. He is exactly that, and he has had the kind of success that Coach Sandifer has had as well. Their careers almost mirror each other. They've both been to state championship games as the coaches at their current high schools. And Coach Copeland has been at Stephenville, I believe, for over 30 years, but and has just now been rewarded with the head coaching job this year, and really did a good job taking over for Coach Briles. A no-win situation when you take over for a guy like Coach Briles, because he did so well.
First down and 10 for the North All-Stars after the tremendous punt return by Choate to the 31-yard line. Minute 42 left to go, third quarter, 7-7 ball game. Ferris pump fakes. Now he goes with a deep bomb at the far side of the field. It's going to be incomplete. The intended receiver was Matthew Grimmett, the young man from Snyder, who scored the only touchdown so far in this ball game for the North All-Stars, but there was double coverage by the South All-Stars on him on that far sideline.
Nice job by Cesar Martinez over there to make sure that pass was not completed. It really was an outstanding throw considering the coverage, and when he let go of it, it didn't look like that Grimmett was going to be able to get over to it, but he did, and just a little bit out of his reach.
Grimmett still goes wide to the left side. I formation behind Ferris now on this second down and 10 play from the 31-yard line. Give to Tidwell up the middle, but a whole bunch of red shirts say, that play has burned us one too many times tonight. Helping to lead that charge defensively for the South All-Stars is going to be strong side linebacker Wes Jones from Coleman.
Wes Jones listed on the roster as just as the kicker. He doesn't have another position there, but he did an outstanding job as the strong side linebacker.
And he's only 5'10", 175 pounds, but those Blue Cats doing a great job under Philip Ritchie. Of course, Coach Bill Grissom, who just recently was elected into the McMurray Athletic Hall of Honor, getting the Coleman program back on solid footing, and Ritchie helping to continue what Grissom got started down there in Blue Cat country. Gain of 1 on that last carry for the North All-Stars, third down and 9. 45 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Shotgun formation. Ferris with some time looking to throw the ball. Now he has to run, and he is going to be sacked by the 44-yard line, and putting the crunch on him was Samson Jackson, the former Winters Blizzard.
Samson Jackson did a good job of putting pressure on, as well as Reggie Murphy. He just had all kinds of pressure on him, nowhere to throw the football, and they were able to slam him down for about a 15-yard loss.
So that might be the final play here in the third quarter as the clock is rolling with 10 seconds left to go in a 7-7 ball game. And Denny Faith's content now. He's going to let the clock wind down, so when he's got to punt the ball, he's got the wind to his back. That's the end of the third quarter. It's a 7-7 ball game. We'll be back with a fourth and final period in just a moment right here on KTAB.
When I left the huddle, having a positive attitude made all the difference. I can! I can! And just like these athletes, you can have an I can attitude, whether it's at work or at play. Being positive motivates and encourages those around you. I can! I can! The FCA has an I can attitude when it comes to students. Arrow dealerships invite you to find out more about the FCA in your area. The I can attitude, it's catching on.
Bank customers in Abilene needed a bank that could make loan decisions right here, today. Plus a bank that is conveniently located for personal banking needs. From mortgage lending, new home construction or remodeling, to commercial business or personal loans, Haskell National Bank is about local bankers who can make local decisions effectively for you. Haskell National Bank, 3202 Buffalo Gap Road, member FDIC, an equal housing lender since 1890.
The
The Abilene Quilters Guild presents Stars Over Abilene Quilt Show. The show dates are Friday, June the 1st from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday, June the 2nd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday, June the 3rd from 12 noon to 5 p.m. 13 quilt vendors will be on hand with hundreds of quilts on display. Admission is $4 for one day or $6 for unlimited access. For more information, call 698-6288.
Back at Shotwell Stadium, 7-7 ball game as we start the fourth quarter of play. Both touchdowns for these respective teams set up by turnovers by the other. First half interception thrown by the South All-Stars set up an 11-yard touchdown pass from Chase Holland to Matthew Grimmett that gave the North a 7-0 lead. But in the third quarter, a North fumble at their own 5-yard line set up a 5-yard touchdown pass from Jordan Neal to Cesar Martinez that tied the ball game up. And that's where we stand right now. We're going to have now a 60-yard field goal try by Mason Grimes. Remember, there is no rushing, and Grimes is going to try a 60-yard field goal, and it's going to be just short. I tell you what, from 55 yards, he might have just cleared the crossbar just then.
It sure looked like it. That was mighty close to going through.
Well, I kept wondering why Denny Faith, I thought he was going to use the wind for a punt. Yeah. So he outfoxed all of us with a 60-yard field goal try. They were kicking down here at the 50-yard line. So Denny's showing a lot of faith, I think, here in his defense to try something like that because the South gets the ball at the 43-yard line.
That's right. It's kind of a tough spot to put your defense in, but if you believe in them, and you also want to give your kicker that shot. I mean, what the hey?
That would have been really something, but he had enough leg. I think for 55, he might have been able to do it. Give up the middle to Deacon Burns, but he goes absolutely nowhere, and guess why? Cody Kelly is there. And I tell you what, Cody is starting to rack up some impressive numbers and might be my vote for the defensive MVP in this ball game.
I think so. He has been around just about every play that they have run, every running play. He's been around it and been involved somehow or another. And he's even, he's getting to work outside, both sides of the field. He's just doing an outstanding job all night.
Well, and that's sort of, I'm going to be honest with you, and it's nothing that Cody hadn't said himself. He's not the most talented player, but he gets 110% out of the talent he's got. Pass to the near side, caught, and that will be enough for the first down. Making the catch along the near sideline is going to be Fishback, and making the tackle for the North All-Stars is going to be Genesis Reddick, the young man from Sweetwater, but not before it's going to be a 12-yard gain and a first down for the South All-Stars.
And that's the kind of pass you expect from Jordan Neal based on what he did this past season for the Cooper Cougars. It was an out. It's a long, hard pass, but it was right on the money. The receiver was the only one that was going to catch that ball.
11:13 left to go here in the fourth quarter of the ball game. 7-7 ball game. South with the pitch. Cesar Martinez gets away from a tackle, cuts upfield. He's still on his feet. He's going to be close for first down yardage before he's taken out over on the far side of the field. Making initial contact is going to be Alan Albus from Monday for the North All-Stars, but a nice job to turn that corner and pick up a nice chunk of change for the South All-Stars.
And T.J. Douglas is one of the reasons he got to turn that corner. He had a rollback block on one of the linemen that was chasing him, and he took advantage of that and picked up a good 10-yard chunk.
They're going to see if it is enough for the first down over there. They don't have to bring the chain gang in from the far side of the field, but when they do stretch the chain, he's going to be just inches shy of what he needs for the first down. And that gives you an idea just how close that run was, because I don't think they had to move the chain 3 feet to see if that was enough for the first down. We're early here in the fourth quarter of the ball game. Good crowd on hand to watch these young men from all over the big country. Some of them playing football for maybe the final time in their career, and for others who have signed on to play college football, their last chance to play before the hometown crowd.
And also a chance for some of the guys that, it's a slim chance for some of the guys that haven't quite decided where they want to play football or if they're going to play football. There are some college coaches here, and some of them are, keeping an eye on these guys from Roby and Ranger and the smaller towns that they don't get a lot of publicity in. Maybe this is their game to get a shot at playing some college football somewhere.
So it's going to be 2nd and inches now for the South All-Stars. Just over 11 minutes left to go here in the ball game at Shotwell Stadium. All the proceeds from this ball game going to benefit the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and the local chapter. 2nd year in a row that this event has drawn a good crowd to Shotwell Stadium. Play action, Jordan Neal on 2nd and inches. He's going to Perry, the male himself, first down yardage inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line before he's tackled by Cody Kelly. Those are two guys who've competed and knocked heads over the years. But Jordan Neal on the quarterback scramble picks up the first down for the South All-Stars.
And he got a big block from Chris Burleson on that scramble. Jordan hadn't quite decided what he wanted to do, but then Burleson laid his guy out. Burleson from Ballinger laid the man that was covering him. He blocked him really well, and that opened it up for Jordan to pick up that first down.
Don't forget, when the ball game is over with, KTAP News, Jennifer Woody with the latest news, Rex Andrew with your weather, Jason Holloway with the sports. That'll be coming up after this ball game live tonight here on KTAP. Pitch to Deacon Burns from Brownwood. He's in trouble, and he'll fall forward to the 30-yard line. Good penetration there, and that's Lance Moore, who had good penetration along with John Gonzalez, forcing the running back, Deacon Burns, to cut back the other way and actually lose a couple of yards on that carry.
One of the things that the defensive line and the linebackers have done for the North is they have been able to put pressure on the running backs and have made them work really hard to pick up their yards.
So far in this ball game, 10 first downs for the North, 11 for the South. Overall yardage, 117 yards for the North, 205 for the South. We'll give you some individual stats in just a moment. 2nd and 12. Neal throws across the middle of the field, wide open at the 20, to the 15, down to the 10-yard line, and that will be a first down for the South. And making the big catch, Chris Burleson, the tight end from Ballinger, who was wide open in the middle of the field.
And Burleson getting rewarded for throwing that block by Jordan Neal. He's sitting there in the middle of the field. No one's within 5 yards of him, maybe 10 yards, and he's able to just catch the ball and turn around and run for 15 yards. Looks like there might be a flag, David.
That was his second catch if the play stands right now for Burleson. 2 catches now for more than 30 yards for the South All-Stars. And this one might be coming back because of a penalty. And let's see if we can pick up a preliminary indication, and they're going to say an illegal man downfield for the South All-Stars. David, let me get you caught up on some of these third quarter stats now. Martinez, 5 carries for 31 yards for the South All-Stars. Deacon Burns, 9 carries for 28. DeBusk, 1 carry for 21, but that was back in the second quarter of the ball game. Neal, 12 of 22 with 2 interceptions for 160 yards and 1 touchdown. T.J. Douglas, the leading receiver, 5 catches for 54 yards. Aaron Berg, 1 catch for 38 before he got injured. Chris Burleson, 1 catch for 16. So wipe off that good catch just a few minutes ago. Jacob Massey, 1 catch for 15 for the South All-Stars. We'll give you the North individual stats after this play. 2nd and long, shotgun formation. Neal dancing around, throws downfield. He's got his man again. That's Burleson to the 20, down to the 16-yard line before he's tackled on the play. And making the tackle is going to be Cody Kelly, the former Abilene High Eagle, and that still might be enough for the first down for the South All-Stars to the 17 of the North.
I think Chase Fishback that time, number 89 instead of 88, was there to make that catch, but a nice job again, open in the middle of the field. But Jordan Neal doing one of the things that he does best is he's patient in the pocket. He just kind of sits there and waits for people to come open, and eventually they do, and he hits them.
9:39 left to go in the ball game. 1st and 10 now for the South All-Stars, threatening to unlock this 7-7 tie. Pitch to the right side, incomplete, off the fingertips of the intended receiver along the near sideline. That was Tremaine Dials, the former Cooper Cougar. Giving you some of the individual stats now for the North All-Stars. Nick Anthony, the leading rusher for the North All-Stars, 3 carries, 27 yards. Tidwell from Albany, 4 carries for 26 yards. Woodruff, 6 carries for 23 from Big Spring. Chase Holland, 3 for 20. Ferris, 3 of 16 throwing the ball with 1 interception. In the meantime, Holland 1 for 1, but that one was the only touchdown scored so far in this ball game by the North All-Stars, and that is still the only thing they've got on the board. 2nd and 10, pass to the near side, incomplete. They were trying to come to the near sideline. Good coverage there by Moore. The intended receiver for the South All-Stars on the play was Jacob Massey.
Nice job of coverage there, and a good job of getting his hand in there, knocking the football away, and knocking the pass down.
Massey, the young man from Rising Star, now makes it 3rd and 10 for the South All-Stars at the 17-yard line of the North with 9:25 left to go in this 7-7 ball game. Neal with Deacon Burns beside him in the backfield. Some good protection, and now he's going to be sacked. That's going to be Cody Kelly, who brings him down to the 24-yard line. And Cody Kelly is playing an outstanding ball game for the North All-Stars on defense.
Kelly really has been inspired in this football game. He came around from the left side, made an outstanding play again. He was on Jordan Neal again before Neal really knew what had hit him, and he made a nice tackle.
So let's see what the South All-Stars elect to do. Now remember, because there is no rushing on kick attempts, this is going to be a 40-yard effort by the South All-Stars into the wind. This is Wes Jones, 7-7 ball game, and if he hits from 40 yards, it would give the South their first lead, but this kick is going to be off and very short. So it remains a 7-7 ball game with 8:37 left to go here in the contest.
The wind playing a big role in that. It looked like that Jones was trying to get way too much, was trying to get a lot of leg into it, and what he ended up doing was hitting it near the bottom and just kind of popped it up, and the wind just gave it no chance at all.
Actually, the young man Grimes for the North All-Stars had a better effort on the 60-yard field goal try that he had to start this fourth quarter of play. So the North gets the ball back. The South All-Stars denied, even though they got as far as the 17-yard line before they were stopped. So now it'll be first down and 10 for the North All-Stars with 8:37 left to go. And remember, the North All-Stars with the wind to their back here in the fourth and final period of play. Back in the ball game at quarterback is Chase Holland. He's 1 for 1, and that was that touchdown pass back in the second quarter. He's going to throw again, and he's now 2 for 2 in the ball game. He was throwing to Ferris, who was lined up as a slot on the right side, and Ferris was swarmed under back at the the 15-yard line. And leading that coverage for the South is going to be Jarek DeBust, the young man from Comanche.
They weren't going to have any of that. It looked like that might have been a trick play with your quarterback lined up at a wide receiver position. It looked like it might have been a trick play, but it just didn't have a prayer because DeBust was there to break it up right away.
So DeBusk, even though he's played limited time offensively in this ball game, with a key play there from his rover position for the South All-Stars. Clock now rolling with less than 8 minutes left to go in the ball game. Second down and 15 for the North All-Stars as they lost a big chunk of change on that aborted play. Quarterback run, and Ferris goes absolutely nowhere. He's swarmed under immediately, and putting the pressure on just then, the South All-Stars, their 2 interior defensive tackles just came in unchecked, and it'll be another loss for the North All-Stars.
Yeah, no prayer because of the great defensive play on that particular play. The 2 defensive tackles just went in almost unblocked and were able to make the stops.
Well, they're passing out ballots right now for the MVP in the ball game. All righty, offensive and defensive MVP. 7:13 left to go. And now it's going to be 3rd and 19 for the North All-Stars. Ferris just airs it out down the near sideline, and that's going to be way over everybody's head. Grimmett was the intended receiver, but the wind carried that well over his head. Actually, Martinez, the defensive back, had a better shot at that for the South All-Stars than the intended receiver did for the North.
That's right, and really he had a lot of pressure on him. He wasn't able to wait like he probably would have wanted to for the intended receiver to get downfield, so he just had to unload it and prevent the sack.
Clock is stopped with 7 minutes left to go, and now the North All-Stars will have to punt. But because they're backed up so far deep in their own end of the field, even with the wind at their back, punting this ball, the South should still come out of this with a pretty good position here in the fourth quarter of play. Punting is going to be Mason Grimes for the North All-Stars. Mason, 5'11", 180 pounds, from Breckenridge, Texas. And remember, there's no rushing on these kicks. Wobbly kick, but it carries, and boy, it's going to be inside the 30-yard line. Still rolling and goes out of bounds along the near sideline at the 26. A tremendous punt by Mason Grimes with the wind to his back. And that gets the North All-Stars out of that hole, and it's going to be the South getting the ball back, but not in nearly the kind of field position they were anticipating.
Looked like about a 70-yard punt.
Wow.
On that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'd take that.
Generally, you'll take that. And actually, you know what, that's all right. 60 yards. 60's still okay, though. 60 won't. We'll let him punt next time, too.
6:51 left to go. 7-7 ball game here at Shotwell Stadium, the second annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic. Jordan Neal in the ball game at quarterback. He has played the majority of this ball game at the signal caller position for the South. DeBusk from Comanche got some playing time in the first half and had a 21-yard scramble. Now he's over on defense. Neal, despite the low snap, still lots of time. Now he's going to run with the ball before he's sacked on the play. And making the sack, Armando Lozano, the 320-pound defensive tackle from Anson, Texas. The old Tiger roaring on that play for the North All-Stars.
And he got that opportunity to roar because the secondary had done a great job of covering their men. And there was nobody to throw the football to for Jordan Neal. And also, there was timely pressure because when he started checking off to his second and third receivers, that's when the pressure finally got to him.
Second down and long now for the North All-Stars, a loss of 5 on that quarterback sack. So now it's going to be second down and 15 for Jordan Neal and company. Hand off, Cesar Martinez tries to turn the corner, gets away from Threet. He's to the 20. He's going to be finally taken out of bounds at the 28-yard line, and there's going to be Cody Kelly in on the tackle over on the far side of the field. And that'll be a gain of about 7 yards on that pitch to the left side and stops the clock with 6:03 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Good pursuit over there on the far side of the field to stop Cesar Martinez, keep him from really getting around that corner the way he'd like to and picking up more yards. So they were able to force a third down and long. The North really in good position right now to make a stop and get the football back.
Gain of 7, but it was a second down and 15, so now 3rd and 8 facing the South All-Stars. Neal, play action, looking to throw into the wind. Now he comes to the near side, and it's going to be tipped. Oh, a great defensive play there by Moore to tip that ball because the receiver was open along the near sideline. Chris Burleson, the tight end from Ballinger.
Moore did a good job there. He just kind of stayed in his zone. He really didn't have anybody to cover, but he did have an area, and he was able to tip the ball up. There is a flag down, though, David.
And let's see what the preliminary indication is. Once again, illegal receiver downfield for the South All-Stars. You know, they had that same thing happen earlier in this third quarter that took him out of what was a potential scoring opportunity down here at the other end of the field. And now it will be 4th down, and they'll have to punt into the wind with 5:46 left to go in the ball game.
And the North should get good field position. I say should because stranger things have happened. But with the wind blowing the way it is, the flag is getting whipped around pretty good out there, right in the punter's face. It looks like the North should get good field position.
Despite a bad snap, remember there is no rushing on the kicking attempts, and Choate will just watch this one bounce, and it will take a south roll inside the 35 to about the 32-yard line. So the North All-Stars get the ball back with 5:34 left to go. Why don't we take a timeout right now? It's still a 7-7 ball game right here on KTAB.
The rumor is we're in an economic slowdown.
I don't think so.
At Era Ford, we've chosen not to.
Nada.
9.
What? Next year.
No way we're going to participate in this, quote, unquote, slowdown.
We know that what we give out, we get back.
So we're growing positive, enthusiastic excitement.
It's an I. I.
Ken, attitude. Come see for yourself.
Right now at your neighborhood Allsup, Snack Attack milk is on sale at an incredible price of just 79 cents for 1-pint bottles of homogenized 2%, 1% chocolate, and 1% chocolate. And the weather's right for grilling out, so pick up some tasty Bar S Franks in the 12-ounce package and an 8-pack of Tender Crust hot dog buns for just 69 cents each. And pick up a 6-pack or 3-liter of Coke or Diet Coke for just $1.69. Allsups, there's always one near you, and we're always open.
Cars, brand new and not so new. Vital to who you are and where you've got to be. But accidents make life difficult. So get protection. With coverage at Standard Insurance, you become part of our family.
Call us on our 24-hour quote line, visit us in person, or on the web. We'll keep you moving on the road of life.
Call Standard Insurance.
Welcome back to Shotwell Stadium. 7-7 ball game. 5:34 left to go here in the fourth quarter of play. The North All-Stars, when we return to action with a first down and 10 at their own 32-yard line. And remember, the North All-Stars do have the wind to their back here for the final 5:34 of this ball game as they try to unlock this tie. And Chase Holland, the young man from Roscoe, Texas, who threw that second quarter touchdown pass for the North All-Stars, back in the ball game at the signal caller position for head coach Denny Faith from Albany. Out of the I formation, they give up the middle. This is going to be Tidwell, and he's across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Making the tackle just then for the South All-Stars is going to be Chris Copeland, the middle linebacker from Brownwood.
Good job up front by the North All-Star. Corey Raines, Matt Johnson. Corey Raines is the guard. Matt Johnson is center. Doing a good job of making space for Tidwell to run through. He doesn't need very much room, but he takes advantage of what he gets.
Saw the KTAB Chase Lab, which is on display here tonight at Shotwell Stadium. Luckily, no storms in the area. Otherwise, it would be out chasing those storms to give you the latest weather information. Gain of 5 on that last carry. Speaking of the latest weather, Rex Andrew will have that for you following the ball game. KTAB News coming up following this live broadcast from Shotwell Stadium. They give to Woodruff. He goes absolutely nowhere. Swarmed under by a whole host of those red-shirted Southern defenders, and man alive, they were all over him. That's going to be a loss on the play, and the South All-Stars now facing third down and long.
Clayton Harmon and Reggie Murphy both in on that play to make that stop and throw the running back for a loss.
So now that will bring up third down and 9. Clock continues to roll with 4:20 left to go in the ball game. North All-Stars getting the play sent in by Denny Faith over on the far side. Just over 4 minutes left to go here in the ball game. 7-7 deadlock. Both teams having scored their touchdowns courtesy of turnovers committed by the opposition. Chase Holland, the Roscoe Plowboy, in the ball game at quarterback on this third down and 9 play. Nobody behind him in the backfield. Quick pass left side. Grimmett with the diving catch at the 42-yard line. He's going to be about a yard shy of what they need for the first down. Brings up 4th and about 1 now for the North All-Stars.
Grimmett did an outstanding job of getting down for the pass, but he just couldn't get enough for the first down.
Just over 3.5 minutes now left in the ball game. And the North All-Stars trying to decide what they're going to do. And Denny Faith apparently is going to put a lot of faith into his offensive unit. And apparently he's going to go for it here on 4th down at the 41-yard line.
This is quite a gutsy call. Also, it really wouldn't be too surprising to see him try to just draw them off sides and try to pick up the first down that way.
Well, this gets the crowd into it here at Shotwell Stadium. 4th down and 2. And the quarterback, Holland, trying to keep the ball. It's still loose. That's going to be Woodruff. And he took a little shovel pass, and he's got the first down inside the 50 to the 47-yard line. And the South All-Stars are stunned defensively as they thought they had him stopped.
They had him stopped, except Chase Holland is that good of an athlete. He was able to pitch the ball out to Woodruff, and then Woodruff made something out of nothing. It was able to pick up that first down. What a play.
Boy, the entire coaching staff for the South All-Stars out on the field barking at that call. But Chase Holland with some magic there for the North All-Stars to keep this drive alive on a 4th down gamble. We go under 3 minutes and counting left to go in a 7-7 ball game. North on the move. Another late pitch, and that's going to be Moore. Moore still on his feet inside the 35 to about the 32-yard line. And that's going to be Lance Moore, the Roby Lion, and it's another first down on a last-second pitch by Chase Holland.
Chase Holland, again, acts like he's run this option before. He's, as a wishbone quarterback, you're used to kind of pitching the ball at the very last second. The interior for the South is getting lots of pressure on him, but he's able to get the ball out there, and then his running backs are doing a lot of hard work.
I mean, he was bent down. There were red shirts on him as he just pitched at the last second, and then Moore took it off the ground and was able to pick up a first down to the 32-yard line. So the Roby Lion getting the pitch from the Roscoe Plowboy, and the North All-Stars got something percolating here with 2:40 left to go in the ball game as they try to unlock this 7-7 tie. Chase Holland from Roscoe in the ball game at quarterback. He threw the touchdown pass in the second quarter. Give up the middle to Tidwell, but he goes absolutely nowhere. And making the stop defensively, Clayton Harmon, the defensive tackle from Stephenville. and that will make it 2nd down and long.
It looks like from the looks of the lineup from the South, anytime that Holland's in the game, they're prepared for him to hand the football off, because they have, I almost want to say they have 11 guys within 5 yards of the football, but they've got at least 9 guys right up on the line of scrimmage, and you can tell that they are just fully expecting a run. Now, I think that if he were to drop back to pass, it would scare some of them to death. They just fall down.
2nd down and 10 now for the North All-Stars. They've got the ball at the 32-yard line as we go under 2 minutes and counting left to go in this 7-7 ball game. And remember, the toe of Mason Grimes, who almost hit a long field goal here early in the 4th quarter. So the North All-Stars just trying maybe to get in position for him. Holland back to pass, fires downfield. Choate with a great catch inside the 10-yard line. Oh, a great catch by Choate as he beats the defense of Cesar Martinez, and the North All-Stars are threatening at the 7 of the South.
What an unbelievable catch. The throw was there, and it had a lot of power behind it, but Choate laid out and made a great catch there at the 7-yard line and has really set the North up in great field position.
Clock is stopped with 1:32 left to go here in the ball game. It's a 7-7 deadlock, and the North All-Stars threatening here to score in the dying seconds of this ball game.
I'm really going to be surprised to see the South get the football back unless the North scores a touchdown.
Chase Holland in the ball game at quarterback now. The former Roscoe Plowboy leading this last-minute drive. Alley-oop pass left side. It's going to be over the head of the intended receiver. He was trying to come to the near side to Grimmett, who they teamed up earlier in this ball game for the only touchdown for the North. That stops the clock with 1:06 left to go here in the ball game.
Good job on that pass, just simply because it wasn't intercepted. It would have been nice if it had been a little bit closer to the wide receiver, I would imagine, but the fact that it wasn't a turnover and that the North has still got the ball and they've got a kicker who can kick a field goal from this distance easy. It's not a lock, but he certainly has the accuracy to make these.
1:06 left to go, 7-7 ball game. The North All-Stars, who haven't scored since the 2nd quarter of this ball game, thanks to some unbelievable pitches by Chase Holland, especially on a 4th down play to keep this drive going. And the young man from Roscoe, who led the Plowboys into the Class 1A playoffs, now trying to lead the North All-Stars to a victory over the South here at Shotwell Stadium. Holland, good block by Moore, throws into the end zone, caught, touchdown, Tidwell! The North All-Stars go back in front as Chase Holland throws his 2nd touchdown pass of the evening.
I think they took the votes for MVP just a little too soon. I want to change mine right now anyway. Nice job by Chase Holland. He has been the quote-unquote running quarterback most of this game, but he's the guy that has 2 touchdown passes now, and he had that huge completion to Choate to set up this last touchdown.
And to attempt the extra point, this is going to be Mason Grimes with exactly 1 minute left to go, and Chase Holland now with a pair of touchdown strikes in this ball game. He found Matthew Grimmett in the 2nd quarter, and just then he was able to hit another touchdown pass. Kick is on its way, and the kick is good. Our new score with exactly 1 minute left to go in the ball game. It's now the North 14, the South 7. We'll be back to Shotwell Stadium in just a moment.
Guys, this is Michael. It's his first day.
What are y'all doing? We're making eye cans. Eye can? What's an eye can?
It's a symbol.
A symbol of what?
A symbol of our commitment.
Our beliefs.
Our attitude.
It's our way of saying that I will do everything I can.
I can.
I can.
Because at Arrow Ford, having a positive attitude
It's something I can do every day.
This I can attitude is contagious. Come see for yourself.
Jeff Burrow Foundation Repair has been serving the Big Country since 1962. Jeff is now the authorized dealer for American Steel Piers, a patented system that offers a lifetime limited warranty. The procedure for American Steel Piers is quick and clean, with minimal damage to your lawn and landscape. If your home is showing signs of foundation stress, Jeff Burrow Foundation Repair will give you a free estimate and go the extra distance to keep you on a firm foundation.
If you think your house needs leveling, just call my dad, Jeff Burrow.
At Robertson Burnett, we represent injured people and their families. After being injured, it is only natural to worry about unpaid bills and what your future holds. I'm Aubrey Roberts, board certified in personal injury trial law. At those times, you should not have to worry about having enough money to hire a lawyer. At Robertson Burnett, if we accept your case, you will not be responsible for attorney's fees, expenses, or court costs unless we recover money for you.
Call Robertson Burnett for a free consultation at 690-1811.
Back here live at Shotwell Stadium, the North having regained the lead at 14-7 on Chase Holland's second touchdown pass of the evening. And here's the kickoff. It'll be fielded and then brought out. This is going to be Deacon Burns across the 10 to about the 15-yard line. The ball is loose, but they're going to say it was down on the ground. The South All-Stars trailing by a touchdown will start down here at their own 13-yard line with a first down and 10, following about a 14-yard kickoff return just then by Deacon Burns. But the North All-Stars on Chase Holland's second touchdown pass of the evening, a 7-yard strike to Joe Tidwell from Albany, after earlier in the ball game Holland had found Matthew Grimmett from Snyder. And the North All-Stars just 55 seconds away from picking up the victory over the South All-Stars here in the second annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic. But remember, the South does have the passing arm of Jordan Neal, who threw for more than 3,100 yards and 37 touchdowns for the Cooper Cougars this year. Lots of time, fires, and this one's going to be off the fingertips. The intended receiver was Douglas, and he was being covered downfield for the North All-Stars by Dustin Threet, the outside linebacker from Haskell. That makes it second down and 10, stops the clock with 50 seconds left to go here in the ball game. And while we were away, a big check presentation from the Big Country All-Star Association to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, a check of $50,000 raised by this weekend's activities. So a big weekend for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes here in the Big Country. Jordan Neal still has the ball, fires downfield, intercepted almost. Chase Holland coming up almost would have had the final nail in the coffin as Jordan Neal, trying to dance and stay alive, almost threw the pick to his counterpart Chase Holland, who's now in the ball game playing defensive back for the North All-Stars. And that would have been a great topping on the cake for Chase Holland, who's thrown 2 touchdown passes to lead this upstart North All-Star bunch to this 14-7 lead now with 40 seconds left to go here in the ball game. Third down and 10 for the South All-Stars. They've got the ball back at their own 13-yard line. Trying to move into the breeze here. Neal looking right, throws right, caught, and then going out of bounds after making the catch along the near sideline, Kelly Foster from Cisco, Texas. And that's going to be out to the 25-yard line, and an apparent first down for the South All-Stars. 35 seconds left to go here in the ball game. 14-7 lead for the North All-Stars. The South still with 75 yards to go if they want to knot this one up before the final gun. But still, the big check presentation a few moments ago, $50,000 raised by this weekend's activities, the Sharing the Victory banquet last night, and tonight's football game to help the local chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Jordan Neal's pass along the near sideline, caught at the 35-yard line, and making the reception once again, Kelly Foster, the slot back from Cisco, Texas. It will be a gain on the play of about 9 yards. And now evidently a timeout has been called as the clock is stopped with 28 seconds left to go. When the game is over with, we'll check in with David Robinette, who's gone down to the field to talk to some of the key players in this ball game. That'll be coming up after the final gun here tonight. And indeed, a timeout has been called by the South All-Stars with 28 seconds left to go. And then, of course, once we're through here at Shotwell Stadium, we'll go back live to the KTAB studios. Jennifer Woody, along with Rex Andrew and Jason Holloway, the KTAB news team, standing by to get you caught up on what's been going on today. Actually, an official's timeout has been called for a measurement along the near sideline. The chain gang coming in from the far side of the field and the stretch of the chain. And the South All-Stars will be just shy of what they need for the first down at the 35-yard line. So it'll be second down for the South All-Stars. And they've still got a long way to go here in the final 28 seconds of this ball game. And I'll tell you what, there's some happy folks down here along the near sideline, especially the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, as Price Matheson, Dwayne Atchison, helping Gordon Wood, the legendary head football coach from Brownwood, Texas, earlier in his career at Roscoe and Stanford and Winters. And he will be helping make the presentation to the MVPs in this ball game when we're through here at Shotwell Stadium. Jordan Neal in the ball game at quarterback, 2nd and inches. Pitch, Deacon Burns. He's got the first down, goes out of bounds along the near sideline of the 38-yard line. Stops the clock with 22 seconds left to go here in regulation, but he does pick up the first down for the South All-Stars. So they got 4 more downs to work with, but they only got 22 seconds to try to make something happen here at Shotwell Stadium. And by the way, let's say thanks to the KTAB crew for making this broadcast possible tonight. Sandra Warren, Lacey White, Jason Kamalo, Dusty Jensen, Glenn McCandless, Daryl Smith, Carl Berry, Jeff Baxter, and Troy Schroed, making the sights and sounds of this 2nd annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic possible here tonight at Shotwell Stadium. Quick pass, Deacon Burns. Then he pitches out at the last minute along the near sideline to Cesar Martinez. He goes out of bounds at the 43-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 5 yards on that hook and ladder play to the near sideline. It will be a gain of about 6 yards, actually, as they'll make it 2nd down and 4 for the South All-Stars just beyond their own 43-yard line. 16 seconds left to go in regulation. North out in front, 14-7, as Chase Holland from Roscoe with a pair of touchdown passes for the North All-Stars here tonight. Jordan Neal controlling the snap, wants to throw deep pass near sideline, up in the air, batted around, incomplete. The intended receiver was T.J. Douglas along the near sideline, but the ball batted by Dustin Threet. That outside linebacker from Haskell has played an outstanding ball game defensively here tonight for the North All-Stars. And now there are only 8 seconds left to go in this 2nd annual ball game. Last year, the South All-Stars won by a final score of 21-6. And now the North All-Stars about ready to even this series up at 1 victory apiece for the North versus the South. But the big victory here tonight going to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, $50,000 being raised by this weekend's activities to help fund the local chapter of the FCA. Maybe the final play of the ball game, Neal's pass along the near sideline, caught by Deacon Burns, goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line of the North All-Stars. 2 seconds left to go in the ball game. So the North All-Stars just 1 play away from racking up this victory over the South All-Stars here tonight at Shotwell Stadium. Good crowd enjoying a good football game here on an early June night. And now a timeout has been called by the South All-Stars to talk this over on what they want to do on their final play of the ball game. And while the South All-Stars gather around their head coaches along the near sideline, Mike Copeland from Stephenville and his staff, Brad McCoy from Jim Ned, Ronnie Hughes from Clyde, Robin Bird from Menard, who earlier coached at Winters, and Philip Ritchie from Coleman. They're talking with the South All-Stars and what they want to do offensively here with 2 seconds left to go. In the meantime, the North All-Stars gathering around their head coach, Denny Faith from Albany, and his staff, Bob Shipley, the former Rotan coach, who's now at Burnett, Blake Felt from Breckenridge, Don Flippin from Haskell, and Matt Denman from Monday, talking what they want to do defensively here with 2 seconds left to go at Shotwell Stadium. The North All-Stars considered by some as the underdog here tonight, but with Chase Holland at the controls, throwing 2 touchdown passes, an 11-yard pass to Matthew Grimmett from Snyder in the 2nd quarter, and then that 7-yard strike to Joe Tidwell just a few moments ago to break the 7-7 deadlock. And the North All-Stars now just 2 seconds away from heading home with a victory here over the South All-Stars in this Big Country All-Star Football Classic at Shotwell Stadium. Jordan Neal has got a whole covey of quail along the near sideline as potential receivers. They've got 4 receivers out wide to the right side and Douglas out wide to the left. And a little problem here of maybe an alignment, and now Cesar Martinez being brought off the field. So Jordan Neal, now remember, he does have to throw into the wind here, and this is going to be a pass down by J.R. DeBusk, and it's going to be picked off, and that's going to be Holland, and he makes the interception, and that's the ball game. The North All-Stars have defeated the South All-Stars here, and the 2nd annual Big Country Football Classic, our final score 14-7, the North over the South. We'll be back with the post game in just a moment, live here on KTAB.
Right now at your neighborhood Allsup, Snack Attack milk is on sale at an incredible price of just 79 cents for 1 pint bottles of homogenized 2%, 1% chocolate, and 1% chocolate. And the weather's right for grilling out, so pick up some tasty Bar S Franks in the 12-ounce package and an 8-pack of Tender Crust hot dog buns for just 69 cents each. And pick up a 6-pack or 3-liter of Coke or Diet Coke for just $1.69. Allsups, there's always one near you, and we're always open.
Well, it looks like a beautiful weekend for the big country. So I'm going to Six Flags.
Buzz is going to Six Flags, and we know you want to go, so KTAB's buying your tickets. Enter at KTABTV.com or send your name, address, and phone number to KTAB. Then every weeknight at 6 and 10, listen for Buzz to say your name. You could win a 4-pack of tickets to Six Flags over Texas.
I cannot believe that I'm doing this.
This is a Titan-sized contest, so enter now.
Oak Express's Memorial Day sale has been held over, which means you can still get incredible bargains offered during our Memorial Day sale. Plus, we're also offering no payments and no interest for 1 full year. That's no payments and interest until June 2002 on our entire stock of dining, home office, home entertainment, and bedroom furnishings. Now that you've had a couple of days to rest, get out and save during our Memorial Day sale, continuing this week. South 7th and the Winters Freeway in Abilene.
Welcome back to Shotwell Stadium. David Bacon along with David Robinette live on KTAB tonight. The post-game prayer being led by the players. Also Gordon Wood from Brownwood presenting the defensive MVP trophy to Cody Kelly from Abilene High. Cody played just an outstanding ball game for the North All-Stars, who won this ball game by a final score of 14-7. And now the offensive MVP. This is being awarded to Chase Holland from Roscoe. And he was the young man who threw the 2 touchdown passes for the North All-Stars. To recap the scoring, Holland had an 11-yard touchdown pass to Matthew Grimmett that made it 7-0 in favor of the North All-Stars in the second quarter. And that 10-play, 67-yard drive was set up by a Jordan Neal interception. Then in the third quarter, the South came back to tie the ball game up on a 5-yard touchdown pass from Jordan Neal to Cesar Martinez of Ballinger, the former Cooper Cougar, finding the former Ballinger Bearcat. That was set up by a North turnover down at their own 5-yard line. And then in the fourth quarter, the North All-Stars, with Chase Holland back at the controls offensively, went on a long touchdown drive. And the key play in that drive was when they converted on a 4th down and 2 situation and were able to get like a 10 or 12-yard run by, that was a pitch to the right side. And Chase Holland then led the North All-Stars on down to the field for the game-winning touchdown, the pass to Joe Tidwell. Now let's go down to the field, and David Robinette, and he's one of the key players in this victory for the North All-Stars. David?
Welcome back to Shotwell Stadium. The North All-Stars beating the South All-Stars by the final score 14-7. For the second year in a row, we have had a little bit of an upset in this All-Star game. Last year, the North was supposed to win. The South won. This year, supposedly, the South was supposed to win. The North gets it this year. We're with defensive MVP Cody Kelly now from Abilene High. Cody, I know you're excited about playing in this game. Talk a little bit about the honor of being the Gordon Wood MVP.
I never dreamed in a million years coming in this game that I would be the most valuable player of this game. I'm a little linebacker from Abilene High. Just has a lot of experience and heart. Like I said in another interview, I don't have much athletic talent. I try to play as hard as I can, 100% all the time.
How, going into this thing, everybody's talking about how good that South team was and how big they were and how much athletic ability they had, but you guys were able to pull it off. Talk about winning this game.
Well, I say it starts off from the beginning of the week. We come in orientation. We are the smallest guys, by far. We have 2 big guys on our team. And they have tons, Harmon, those kind of guys. We came in, we were predicted, to lose, I'm sure, by way more than the North did last year or whatever. But we came in, we practiced hard, we full padded out for 3 days straight. We busted heads, we got with it, and it paid off.
That's one of the things Coach Faith talked about, the fact that you guys, he kind of had to tone you guys down because y'all were really wanting to get into it. Talk about how important that was for you guys.
Well, I think it was important, first of all, to get in there. We haven't played since November and December. Getting out there and practicing, butting heads, getting the headaches over with is what got us through it, experience. We got all of our guys. I mean, we came together and we love each other so much, man. This FCA is such an awesome thing. and I wouldn't give anything up for anything, you know.
All right, congratulations. Thank you very much. We're going to try to get the quarterback over here. Holland, can you come with me? Can I get you to turn around this way and do that too? Sorry about that. First of all, talk about you kind of came out of nowhere. Being the quarterback, early in most of the game, you didn't get to play quarterback, but you got your chance here in that last drive and you came in. Talk about that.
Well, Chase Ferris, he's an awesome guy. I mean, he has a real good head at quarterback and he can pass the ball. And he kept this game going. I mean, he drove the ball down the yard, and I was lucky enough to get in there the first time and take care of what he'd done all down through the drive. So it was mainly his deal getting us down there. And I just wanted to come in, God willing, make a play.
Now, talk a little bit about this game. You know, the North All-Stars were the supposed all underdogs. I know Coach Faith had talked to you guys a little bit about that, and y'all wanted to prove something. What'd you prove?
Well, we proved that we belong here. I mean, they had a lot of good players, given they had Stephenville, Brownwood, and all their schools. I mean, they just had unbelievable players. But we had several of our own. I mean, we weren't there because we ain't never played football. We were there because all year we'd been doing this thing. We'd been honored because of the game we'd played our whole high school lives. And it just gave us our chance to prove what we had.
Now talk about being the MVP. The award's named after Gordon Wood, one of the greatest coaches ever. Talk about the honor of being the second offensive MVP.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I never would have dreamed this. It's a dream come true, and I just got to thank God. I really do. I prayed for this game, and he came through. He really did.
Congratulations. All right, good luck. Chase Holland, the offensive MVP, Cody Kelly, the defensive MVP, both from the North squad that has pulled an upset. The second year in a row that this All-Star game's had the upset in it. The North wins it 14-7. We're going to take a break right now, but we'll be right back to wrap up the Big Country All-Star Classic benefiting the FCA right after this.
Mom, the K-Tab Chase Lab.
The K-Tab Chase Lab, the Big Country's only fully equipped storm chase vehicle.
Before severe weather breaks out, the K-Tab Chase Lab moves in.
The K-Tab Chase Lab, loaded with digital communications and computers, monitoring K-Tab First Warning Doppler, the Big Country's most powerful Doppler radar.
Did you know that K-Tab's working hard to protect families in the Big Country just like ours?
Right now at your neighborhood Allsup, Snack Attack milk is on sale at an incredible price of just 79 cents for 1 pint bottles of homogenized 2%, 1% chocolate, and 1% chocolate. And the weather's right for grilling out, so pick up some tasty Bar S Franks in the 12-ounce package and an 8-pack of Tender Crust hot dog buns for just 69 cents each. And pick up a 6-pack or 3-liter of Coke or Diet Coke for just $1.69. Allsups, there's always one near you, and we're always open.
Robertson Burnett, a law firm that represents people injured in accidents.
At Robertson Burnett, we represent injured people and their families. All kinds of people. The father whose paycheck keeps the family going. The mother whose well-being is critical to her children's home life. The student who's looking for a bright future. I'm Burt Burnett, and we care about injured people and their families. We're a law firm that stands by the people and that works for the people. And we're here to help you. Call Robertson Burnett for a free consultation at 690-1811.
The K-Tab Chase Lab.
It says on the scoreboard that the North was the winner here, 14-7, as they pulled off the upset over the South All-Stars. But really the big winner this weekend was the local chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. $50,000 raised by this weekend's activities to continue the work being done by the local chapter of the FCA. So congratulations to Steve Tatum and his staff for a great weekend. The Sharing the Victory banquet last night, tonight's All-Star Classic football game, which the North wins 14-7. Once again, your MVPs, Cody Kelly defensively for the North All-Stars, Chase Holland from Roscoe, the offensive MVP. And once again, on behalf of the K-Tab production crew, Sandra Warren, Lacey White, Jason Kamalo, Dusty Jensen, Glenn McCandless, Daryl Smith, Carl Berry, Jeff Baxter, and Troy Schroed, this is David Bacon on behalf of David Robinette saying so long, everybody. Our final score once again, the North wins it 14-7 in the second annual Big Country All-Star Football Classic live from K-Tab tonight here at Shotwell Stadium. So long, everybody.